ICENET. Dynasties live here.
Six games, his 7th hat trick of the year, which ties the National Hockey League record. Let's go to the videotape, pick it up right here in the second period, and Bossy makes it 2-0 Islanders. Then, 3.5 minutes left in the second period, Trottier makes it 3-0 New York. Bossy's goal made it 2-0, Trottier 3-0. Third period, 3-1 Islanders, and it's Bossy 4-1 New York. 4-3 now. Anybody's game. Bossy said, let's get it over. That made it 5-3. And then, with 30 seconds left, look at this. Trottier says, you take it, Mike. You need more than me. That was it. 4 goals on the night, 45 on the year, and the Islanders win it 6-3. Meanwhile, in Detroit last night, the Bruins and Red Wings, a 3-3 tie. Let's go to the videotape. It was 1-1 in the first period. Boston in the dark. Steve Kasper beats the goalie. The goalie, by the way, his name is Lonnie Lazinski, no relation to Greg, makes it 2-1 Boston. Then in the second period, Dale McCourt beats Jimmy Craig to tie it at 2-2. This is Crowder of the Bruins and Jean Hamel of Detroit. Pretty even battle. They both go down, take a 10 count. 3-2 Boston, 3 minutes left in the game, and Paul Woods beats Jimmy Craig to tie at 3-3. That's the way it ended, and Irv Jakovsky was at the game. Here it is. A much-needed policeman, number 22, Nicky Fotiu, returns home after being exiled in Hartford. Let's go to the videotape of last night's Rockies-Rangers game. This is the first period. Silk beats Hardy Astrom to make it 2-1. Then, in the second period, 3-1 Colorado. Eddie Johnston makes it 3-2. In the third period, 10 minutes left in the game, Hedberg comes in, beats Astrom, ties the game at 3-3. But with less than 5 minutes left in the game, Mike Gillis beats Sotar for the hat trick, and the Rockies win it 4-3. The Rangers outshot Colorado 52-22, but lost because Astrom had 49 saves. In Chicago last night, the Blackhawks beat the Bruins 3-2. Let's go to the videotape of that game. In the second period, Chicago on the home white, they led 1-0. Tim Higgins beat Vachon to make it 2-0. 3 minutes later, Ray Bourque beats Esposito, and it's a 2-1 game. You want to see a fight? We've got a fight. Terry O'Reilly of Boston in the dark, Reggie Kerr of Chicago in the light. Pretty even fight. 2 heavyweights, they go at it and go down. In the third period, Ted Bully beats Vachon to make it 3-1, and Chicago wins it 3-2. Little dance for Bully.
50 goals in 50 games. He now has 45 goals in 46 games. The Islanders host Washington tonight. We'll have highlights at 11. This afternoon, though, it was Philadelphia and Boston. Score was tied, 3-3. Watch, O'Reilly goes down, gets it to Redmond. Bingo! 4-3 Bruins. Redmond slides into the board. Can you imagine blowing this situation? Stan Jonathan doesn't. Easy goal. 6-4. Sets you up for nothing. 6-4. The Bruins won the game over Philadelphia. And Thunderbolt, they do it for the Islanders. A record of 50 goals in 50 games. Only Maurice Richard did it. Tonight was game number 47. He got 3. That's 48 goals in 47 games. Here it is, second period. Mike Bossy against Washington takes it from Trottier. 46 goals for Bossy. It was 3-2 Washington. Now third period, Trottier gives it to him. That's number 47 for him in 47 games. Late third period, number 48, that's an open netter. The goaltender was pulled. 8 hat tricks. That's a record in the season. Islanders 6, Washington 4, Bossy. 48 goals in 47 games. And the Nets won.
Athletes dream about the season Mike Bossy is having. Last night, Bossy continued his unreal pace as he scored hat trick number 8 to lead the Isles to a 6-4 win over Washington. For Bossy, it's now 48 goals in 47 games as he closes in on Maurice the Rocket Richard's record of 50 in 50 games. Before the game, Orrin Stevens asked him if his teammates were helping.
Well, you know, I don't think they've been thinking too much of it lately. I know that Brian you know, has been setting me up for 3.5 years now. So I don't think, you know, it'll be any different for the next 3 or 4 games. You know, I hope they do. You know, I think that I've made everybody aware of the record. I've made everybody aware that I'd like to break that record. And, you know, whatever chances I get to break the record, I will take, because, you know, like I said, you know, it's like nobody has a chance to get 5 goals in a game very often, and nobody has a chance to get 50 goals in 50 games very often. And I have a chance to do it now, and I really would like to do it.
Meantime, the New York Rangers, who are up and down, were in Buffalo, and it was a down night for them. McKegney, Hallworth, and Rick Sealing a pair. Final score, Buffalo 4, the Rangers nothing. Tonight, Hartford at Washington, and Washington beat them by a score of 3-2. Gustafson scored first for the Caps. Later, Mike Rogers, who they said was too small and is having a great year, scored, but Washington won it 3-2. That is the final on the board.
Who haven't won a game in 6 straight. Home tonight against Calgary. The Rangers are in last place behind the Washington Capitals, who won last night. Let's go to the videotape of last night's Capitals-Hartford game. First period, Caps in the home white, 1-1. It's Brian Walter beats Garrett to make it 2-1. Now, you be the referee. Jarvis shoots. Is this a goal or not? The puck bounces around by Garrett, the goalie. Watch his left hand. Now look at this. He reaches out, takes the puck, and puts it in the net. That should be a goal. They say no goal, no goal. But it doesn't make any difference. But look at Garrett. He takes a look at the ref. Ref, is it a goal or not? No, sir. So Hartford gets a break, and from the face-off, Vervigar makes it 3-1, and the Caps win it 3-2. Last night finally beat the Flames of the Garden for the first time in 4 years. Let's go to the videotape, and it was fight night. They snuck a little hockey in there, but it was fight night. Hospodar, 6'2", 210 against Randy Holt, 5'11", 185. Heavyweight fight all the way. In the second match of the evening, Barry Beck, 6'3", 215. Bert Wilson, 6 feet, 190. All right, they said, let's play hockey. Kotsopoulos to Hedberg beats Bouchard 2-1 Rangers. 7 minutes later, Dave Maloney shoots, tip in Duguay, 3-1 Rangers. Now watch this. Bouchard makes the save. The puck is on top of the net. Fatiu sticks his stick in there. Boom! That's it. Bouchard says, get out of here, Nick. Give me a break. Now, second period, 3-3 Maloney. Bullseye, 4-3 New York. In the third period, after the celebration, Johnstone down the ice, shoots, saved by Bouchard, follow-up Maloney, and it's 5-3 Rangers. 7 minutes left in the game, Johnstone by himself, 6-3, the Rangers win it. In Boston last night, the Bruins reached the 500 mark since the first week of the season. They beat Buffalo 5-1. Let's go to the videotape. In the first period, Bruins home white, make it the second period. Wayne Cashman beats Edwards to make it 2-0 Boston. Get up, Wayne. 9.5 minutes later, Brad McCrimmon. He beats Edwards, and it's 3-0 Bruins in front. Then 2 minutes later, it's Cashman again, and he beats Mr. Edwards, and it's 4-0 Bruins. In the third period, you'll see number 7, Ray Bourque. Look at this shot. The shot of the night, off balance, bullseye, 5-0. The Bruins win it 5-1, and it was 15 saves for that gentleman off with the mask, Jimmy Craig. The Jets team, the Islanders, beat Calgary 5-0. All 5 goals coming to the third period. No goals for Mike Bossy, who now has 48 goals in 48 games. Let's go to the videotape. No score in the third period. Islanders in the home white. Butch Goring breaks the tie, beats Lemelin to make it 1-0. 2 minutes later, Tonelli to Nystrom. Nystrom, bullseye. It's 2-0 Islanders. 5 minutes later, Trottier, 20-footer. 3-0 New York. 5 minutes later, Gillies, number 9, bullseye, 4-0 New York. 1 minute later, Lorimer shoots, Trottier tip in. The Islanders win it 5-0. The shutout for number 1, Chico Resch with 21 saves. Local column.
To tonight's game with a record of 13-7-4 on the season, a 3.24 goals against average. Henning back to the left point, and Gord Lane puts the Islanders on top 1 minute and 43 seconds into the hockey game.
Gordy Lane, his first goal of the season. A hard drive right from the face-off. Lauren Henning, dressing for his 3rd game in a row, gets the draw, and Gordy Lane lets it fly.
The action, the score, Islanders 1, Red Wings nothing. Centers Bossy to Howard. He tried to backhand it under the goaltender. Comes out in front, but out of the reach of Tambellini. Huber had been knocked down. The puck back to Lane. Lane given a bump on the boards. Here's Howard moving in from the blue line. Shoots one. That deflected wide. Lazinski without a stick. But Detroit a good off and shoots that one wide of the net. But Bossy trailing. Trache coming right in. Shoots blocked by Lazinski. The rebound came loose. Back to the point for Persson. Persson shot. Hit Bossy in front of the net. Trache unable to pick it up. Now he has it. Trache turns. Comes in on the right wing. Trache cutting it on goal, but play has been called. We have an interference penalty against the New York Islanders. Lorimer with a shot. Tipped just wide as it came off the stick of Trache. Gillies is back out on the ice. Here's Bossy with it to Trache. Couldn't control it. And Huber takes over following the face-off into the far corner. Can't get away from Larson at the moment. Now Goring digs it loose. Back to Persson. Persson shooting into the pads of Lazinski, and he holds on. Comes back to the Detroit line. Over to Persson. Persson spins away from the check of McCourt, and he is checked again. Potvin back with it. To Persson. Persson to Potvin into center ice. Dennis leads the rush. Bossy is out on the ice. Potvin to Bossy, but they're calling it offside. Point. Stefan Persson to Mike Bossy. Bossy back to Potvin. Potvin centers. It's blocked by Lazinski. Recovered. Put it out in front. Bossy taken out of the play and a check by Ballers 1. The Red Wings nothing. Over the line. He shoots. Lazinski the save. The puck ends up underneath him. He looked over the blue line. The pass to Gillies. He shoots. He scores. Bossy sets up Gillies for a 2-0 Islander lead.
Fine play by Michael Bossy as he clears the puck in the Islanders' end of the ice, picks up his own clearing pass off the boards, and he beats Perry Miller, number 3. Bossy down the right wing side very quickly. 3-on-1. Bossy to Clark Gillies, and Gillies finds a lot of net to the right of Larry Lazinski, and the Islanders take a 2-0 lead. Michael Bossy to Clark Gillies, and Gillies just inside the right goal post.
In front to Nystrom. The shot was on target. Lazinski made the save. Backcourt is Peterson. Peterson passed his footing and went into the board. Having it around Larson. Gillies shoots. That just went wide of the net. The rebound to Trache. Trache checked on the Detroit zone in front to Gillies, and it was blocked by Huber. Gillies comes Caller. Caller all alone. Coming right in on goal. Fake shoot. Blocked by Lazinski, and the rebound. What happens here? Play gets underway. The puck comes out from the faceoff. Here's Bossy with an empty net. He shoots, and he missed it. Michael missed the post. Trache with it back of the net. Trying to put it out in front. They bang at it. It's in the skates of Larson. He kicks it aside. Now back of the goal. Trache puts it out in front. Bossy couldn't get there in time, and the Red Wings have cleared it to center. Backcourt is Lorimer. Lorimer shooting it high down into the Detroit zone. Going back for it is Barrett. He's bumped by Trache. And now Larson shoots it high in the air. It's like a football punt all the way down into the Islander zone. Lorimer slaps it off the board. Bossy checked at the blue line. Here's McCourt. His pass tipped out into the center ice zone. Coming back is Foligno. Mike Foligno shoots one high and wide of the Islander goal. Billy Smith steers it aside for Potvin. Around to the right wing to Bossy. There's Bossy firing toward an empty net, and he misses it. That'll be called back for icing the puck. 39 seconds left. Michael.
Say he hasn't. He has. He's played a little bit different, but he had a couple of pops at it. That's not easy, you know, to skate and somebody checking you and shoot the puck into the empty net. It is not easy at all.
Indeed it isn't. Trache on this faceoff. He's tied up by Curtin. Huber with a shot that goes high over the glass into the crowd, and they'll line up again. On the draw, the puck cleared. Trache digs it loose, comes out of his own zone. Bossy is being held back, hooked by Huber, no penalty. The puck deep in the Detroit territory. The Red Wings trying to clear it out, got it to Ogrodnik, knocked away from him by Trache into the center ice zone. Gillies tipped it loose. Here's Foligno now, shooting it into the Islanders zone, wide of the net. Bossy picks it up on the right wing's boards. Bossy to Potvin. Dennis ahead to Gillies, has Trache with him. Here's Gillies across the line, looks for Bossy. Fires one, and he scores! Gillies didn't mean to put it into the net.
Any more than Brian Trache didn't mean to put it anywhere near the net a moment ago. They wanted to get it into the end and tried. Gillies, believe it or not trying to put it in the net, was checked when he shot it, and it went in. So the Islanders inadvertently have scored a goal in an attempt to get the puck to Mike Bossy. Gillies pulling the puck around number 28, Reed Larson. tried to pass it to either Trache or Michael Bossy, who was coming down right wing, and the puck deflected right into the net. So Gillies gets his second goal of the game in the empty net. Number 10, Dale McCourt, was close to Michael Bossy. And that's the end of the game.
Well, the Islanders win it 3-0, but Michael Bossy gets an assist tonight, but no goals. 48 goals in 49 games. He has one remaining. That's against the Quebec Nordiques at the Coliseum on Saturday night. Mark Gillies with a pair of goals here tonight, the other by Lane. And the Islanders have defeated Detroit, have swept the season series, winning 4 straight over the Red Wings. And they have back-to-back shutouts. Billy Smith with his first whitewash job of the season. The final score.
He's still eluding his goal, or his goal eluding him.
So he has 48 goals in 49 games. He must score 2 goals tomorrow against Quebec to reach Maurice Richard's record of 50 goals in 50 games. He played nearly 25 minutes last night, shadowed again, got off only 4 shots, although some excellent opportunities. Bossy, number 22, gets it in front, but his shot just goes wide. Rookie goaltender Larry Lazinski in net for Detroit. He gave up 10 goals to Los Angeles Tuesday, but made that save and shut out Bossy. Now with the open net, Bossy the shot, but it slides wide. 43 seconds to go. Bossy again the open net, and he slides it wide. The net's still open. Clark Gillies sends it ahead to Bossy, but the puck goes in the net. And that was the night that Mike Bossy had. Actually, there were 2 games last night, Bossy versus Detroit and the Islanders versus Detroit. Both were shutouts. Bossy didn't score, and neither did the Red Wings. The second straight Islanders shutout, Billy Smith recorded his first of the year, turning aside 34 shots, and he got the only goal he needed. A minute 43 into the game, Gord Lane scored his first of the year. He only needs 49 tomorrow to catch Richard. In the second, Clark Gillies gets it from Bossy, number 20 for Gillies. Gillies then the open net goal, and that closed out the scoring at 3-0.
To hit the 50-goal, 50-game mark. However, almost overlooked, the Islanders made it 2 shutouts in a row. Let's go to the videotape. Last night's game, Islanders in the dark. In the first period, Gord Lane, 50-footer, 1-0 New York. Second period, Bossy to Gillies, it's 2-0 New York. In the third period, now look at this, open net with 4 seconds left. Gillies tries to feed Bossy, but he gets the goal instead. 3-0, the shutout for Billy Smith, 34 saves. In Philadelphia last night, the Flyers beat the North Stars 5-4. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up here. Early in the ball game, first period, Steve Kristoff, former Olympic team, makes it 1-0 Minnesota. Now 2-1 Minnesota. Bridgman to Tommy Gorens. It's a 2-2 game. In the third period, it's 3-3, and Billy Barber beats Meloche to make it 4-3. And then 1 minute later, Timmy Kerr, rather Beaupre is the goalie. 19-year-old Beaupre, 5-3. The Flyers win it 5-4. Boxing.
And that's how it was last night at the Nassau Coliseum as Mike Bossy scored number 50 to tie Maurice the Rocket Richard's record of 50 goals in 50 games. But it didn't come easy for Bossy. For the first 55 minutes, he was shut out. As a matter of fact, he didn't even have a shot on goal for the first 2 periods. But then in the third period, with 4:10 left, lightning struck. The Isles and Quebec were tied at 4 apiece. That is until Mike Bossy found the range for his 49th.
Before the 49th, I went back to the bench and I said to Bob Bourne, I wish they'd just let me stand up in front of the net, never mind score a goal. You know, you get tired, you know, falling down and getting up again. And, you know, the defenseman deflected the pass that Stefan made for me, and I just backhanded it. And I was really surprised to see it go in.
The surprise didn't last long because less than 3 minutes later, Bossy got another. This time it was the magic number 50.
Trotz, you know, got the puck at the top of the circle about, and I saw him. He didn't know I was still in the zone, and he was looking, and I just hollered Trotz, and he heard me. He didn't really even look. He didn't even know where I was. I guess you know, that's Trotz though. He knew where I was. He threw the puck over, and after seeing it on the replay, it looked like it bounced as soon as I hit my stick. Then as soon as it came down, I let it go. That was one of the happiest moments of my life, you know. Like I said, I was really hurting inside before that, and to get that goal, you know, for the fans, you know, they'd really been supportive in the last 3 games, and it was a great feeling.
It seemed to be a communally good feeling. I mean, all your teammates come out and they mobbed you, and for those moments, what were you thinking?
Well, I was just thanking each and every one of them. They've been great the last 3 games. Not only the last 3 games, ever since I've been here. They never stopped supporting me for my bid for the 50th goal. They never thought I was out of place saying that I wanted that 50th goal. They helped me. Every single guy that I got on the ice with was looking for me in the last 3 games. And, you know, I hope they're just as happy as I am because they worked just as hard as I did.
Was tying the record enough?
Yeah, it was. When I was, you know, when you're down to the last 2 minutes of a game, tying it was very enough for me. Told myself a couple of times out there tonight, come on, go get one. After that 49, I really thought it was going to come down to getting one in the empty net, and that even made me more nervous than getting one with the goal.
Ball game, Mike Bossy, Saturday night. Goal number 50 in the 50th game. Let's go to the videotape. 1.5 minutes left in the game. He's got 49 goals. Trottier to Bossy. 20-footer. Look at the dance. He invents a new dance. The ironic part is that Maurice Richard also scored his 50th goal in the 50th game in the 3rd and final period, just like Bossy.
That'll take place next month, and the Islanders made out very well. Here's that Campbell Conference starting lineup. Mike Liut of St. Louis in goal. The Islanders' Dennis Potvin, although he's not having a bang-up season, made it on the back line along with Rob Ramage of Colorado. Bill Barber and Mike Bossy flanking Brian Trottier. Bossy was 1 vote short of unanimous. Can you imagine someone not voting Bossy first-team All-Star? That's something, Frank. Yeah, I know you've been talking about that. The Rangers were blank, but 1 Ranger player will be selected when Flyer coach Pat Quinn picks the rest of the squad. Last night at the Coliseum, the Islander win streak was stopped at 6. That's 1 short of the team record. Buffalo beating the Islanders by the score of 5-3. Mike Bossy got right to it, number 51 on the season, only 16 seconds into the game. So he's looking now for 80 in 80 games, and he's right on target. Islanders took a 3-2 lead midway through the first when Trottier scored his 20th, but the Sabres came roaring back. Early second, Lindy Ruff ties the game at 3 off the deflection on a power play. Late second, shorthanded goal for Buffalo, John Van Boxmeer from Andre Savard. That's the game winner. Sabres lead 4-3. Then 5 minutes into the 3rd, it's Craig Ramsey on the rebound, and it's a 5-3 final score. Buffalo on top. The Rangers
beat Colorado 5-3. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Pick it up right here. Early in the game, in the first period, 1-0 Boston. Keith Crowder beats Hardy Astrom 2-0. From the face-off, Bork makes it 3-1 Bruins. 9 minutes later, this is Redmond shooting. The rebound, Miller. It's 4-1 Bruins. Now, want some fights? We've got them in the 3rd period. Crowder against Eddie Cooper. Down they go. Next fight, the main event. Terry O'Reilly against Jack Hughes. A lot of punches there. Lefts and rights, they go down. 5 seconds left in the game. A 140-foot shot into the open net. Bullseye. That's it. The Bruins win it 5-3. The shot by Pat Bork. College basketball.
Very fine all-around player. Now, as we all know, hockey is a rugged game, even for the officials, as referee Dave Newell discovered the other night during the Flyer-Sabre game. Off this collision, Newell suffered a separated shoulder, and the word today from the NHL, he'll be out at least 2 weeks. Dave Newell had a rough time the other night during the course of the Flyer-Sabre game. And at the Big A this afternoon.
In Boston last night, the Bruins beat Winnipeg 7-6. Let's go to the videotape. Bruins in the home white. In the first period, 13 seconds into the game, Casper makes it 1-0 Bruins. Second period, Bork to Cashman. It's 3-2 Boston. Look at this fight, one of the longest fights of the year. Rick Dudley, 6 feet, 190, and Bork, 5'11", 195 of the Bruins. They went on and on and on and on, and finally they said, all right, let's play hockey. 3-3. Jonathan breaks the tie. It's 4-3 Boston. But look at this. Duel in the sun. Look at this. Park and LaCour. They think their heads are the pucks. Look at the look that Park gives LaCour. Look at that. Come on, guys, play hockey. 6-6, 50 seconds left in the game. Middleton scores, and the Bruins win it 7-6.
Other addition, Bobby Bourne, and good to see Bob get the well-deserved recognition. And the same for the Lone Ranger selection, the always hustling crowd favorite Eddie Johnstone, who's had a
league tonight in Hartford. The Leafs and Whalers play to a 5-5 tie. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Leafs in the dark. First period, Picard beats Garrett. It's 1-0 Leafs. Then 2-2 first period, Sittler drop pass. Maloney makes it 3-2 Leafs. In the second period, Pat Boutette beats Jimmy Rutherford right here, right there. Stick it in. It's a 3-3 game. Now, 2 minutes left in the game. 5-4 Leafs. Blaine Stoughton, bullseye. The game ends in a 5-5 tie, the Leafs and Hartford. In Denver, in the second period, the Flyers lead the Rockies 4-3. Let's go to the videotape of that game. In the first period, Philadelphia in the light, and rather in the dark. This is the Rockies. Vitor beats Mir to make it 1-0. Then Tommy Gorens comes back. 30-footer beats Hardy Astrom. It's a 1-1 tie. 1 minute later, Adams beats Astrom. 2-1 Philadelphia. They now lead 4-3 in the second period in Denver. In Edmonton, the Blackhawks in Edmonton, 1-1 in the second period. That's it for the National Hockey League. Local.
The hockey watch for John. He didn't know who was playing. The Islanders lost to Quebec 5-1. Marc Tardif had the hat trick for Quebec, but of course the one for the Islanders was Mike Bossy, so he now has 52 goals in 53 games. The Rangers tonight, they're a whole new team. Leading in the third period, Talafas got the first goal, and here's the second one. It was Maloney over Malash. Then from the point, Vadnais shot it, Nielsen tipped it, 4-1 Rangers. Nielsen had 2. The red-hot Rangers lead at 6-2 in the third period. They look like another hockey team.
With the linesman there to separate them. Greg Medill was right on the case here, and there is no question that Langevin checked with a good legal shoulder, and O'Reilly can't get the shot away. Good check out of it. And Bobby Bourne on a backhander, saved by Rogie Vachon with the toe of his skate, the Bruins. Right. Redmond back to Cashman, the shot right away. It's right at Glenn Resch. He did not have to up behind the Bruin goal, trying to find an open man. Nobody checking him. He goes to Bossy. Bossy out to Persson. Potvin. Bossy in the slot, turns, takes a shot, it's blocked, scores on his own rebound. Off the defensive block, I believe Bork was the man who stopped his first try, but Bossy handling the puck beautifully. Scores on the power play. Number 53 on the year. The Islanders draw the first blood. Potvin. Michael Bossy, the shot hit number
McCrimmon, yeah.
29. Brad McCrimmon, and Mike Bossy takes his own rebound, put it right through the feet of Rogie Vachon.
Last night, Rangers, in returning from their successful road trip, played very well. In fact, they outplayed the strong L.A. Kings, but provided the Kings with a gift. 3-2 victory. With Nick Fotiu taking out the goaltender Mario Lessard, Dean Talafas able to tie the game at 1 late first period. Midway through the second, it was Dave Silk from Ron Duguay, and the Rangers lead it 2-1, but they blew it. Steve Jensen of the Kings ties it with 6 minutes left in the game, beating Doug Sotart to the short side, and then the crusher, former Islander Billy Harris, scoring with 9 seconds left, a shot that deflects in off Ranger defenseman Dave Maloney. I talked with Harris after the game.
Well, nothing special against the Rangers. I mean, it's a big 2 points for us, and that's basically what it is.
Seemed like we did hear some lost weekend in Quebec and Boston. One other hockey note, in last night's game at the Garden, Walter Tkachuk of the Rangers was struck above the right eye on this clearing pass off the stick of L.A. defenseman Larry Murphy, and there were some anxious moments when Walter went down. Fortunately, contact was made above the eye. The word today, it is an inflammation of the right retina, and Walter will be out 2 to 3 weeks.
Tony Esposito made it 12 in a row without a loss last night as the Chicago Blackhawks beat Pittsburgh 8-4. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Chicago on the home white first period. Keith Brown feeds Andre Savard, beats Millen. It's 1-0 Chicago. Now it's 1-1. Here's Bob Murray. Nice lead pass to Lysiak to Glenn Sharpley, who beats Millen to make it 2-1 Chicago. Now it's 2-2. Still first period. Rick Patterson. Watch this shot. 40-foot bullseye. That's it. 3-2 Chicago. In the second period, 3-3, Reggie Kerr shoots, misses, comes around the net, puts in his own shot, 4-3 Chicago. They never trailed and won it 8-4.
Square Garden tonight, and it is the hottest ticket in town. The Rangers and the Islanders go at each other in one of those games where you can just discard all the records, all the stats. Remember the last time they met, January 2nd at the Garden. Here's Dave Maloney, first of his 2 power play goals. Rangers beat the Islanders 3-1. Maloney will do it again right here. A totally unexpected high for the Rangers, who were really struggling at the time. Now Steve Vickers finishes it off with the empty netter. How can the Rangers get so high and then on other occasions go the other way? I talked about this with Dave. The Islanders stopped their mini slump, a clobbering of the L.A. Kings by the score of 8-1. The same Kings who beat the Rangers Monday night in the final seconds. Early first period last night, Bob Nystrom, number 12 on the season, 1-0 Islanders. L.A. rookie goaltender Paul Pejou was blasted. Now 12:01 of the first. Dennis Potvin, his first goal since December 21st. 4 power play goals in all for the Islanders. Minute and a half later, Steve Tambellini makes it 3-0. Second period, Anders Color with his 31st. Mike Bossy with one of his 3 assists on the play, although Mike did not score. Either did Charlie Simmer, although on this L.A. goal at first it was announced that Simmer deflected it in, and as a mark of Simmer's class, he corrected the score, saying it was Jerry Korepp. So Simmer remains on hold with 50. Bossy has 53.
In Atlanta see him last night. The 76ers, by the way, won that game by 4. Nassau Coliseum, the Lakers, the Kings, we'll get it right. The Los Angeles Kings tried out a rookie goaltender by the name of Paul Pejou. That's right, the same guy who started for Canada in the Olympics. First game in the National Hockey League, and the Islanders took full advantage of Mr. Pejou. Let's go to the videotape. The game was only 2 minutes old. Islanders in the home white, and Langeman shoots. Bullseye, save, followed by Nystrom puts it in. It's 1-0 Islanders. 10 minutes later, it's Trottier to Potvin. Here's your long bullseye. They made it 2-0 over Pejou. A minute and a half later, Nystrom to Tambellini, and it was 3-0. And they said, this ain't the Olympics, kid. In the second period, here comes Andy Cowler, breaks through everybody, off balance, shoots 4-0. Third period, now it's 4-1. Pearson to Gillies, it's 5-1 Islanders. Now it's 7-1. Bossy to Wayne Merrick, 8-1. The kid says, give me a break. Let me out of here. Rangers and Islanders play tonight. Chico Resch, by the way, 29 saves last night.
They're going to. That's Milbury and Duguay. Milbury came into Duguay with an elbow to start the game. It is 2-0 Boston. There's Rattel. That's the second one he missed. Watch it come out from behind. And it went off Baker. 3-0. There's Park circling around. Gets to the blue line, finds Crowder, and from the top of the circle, he let it go. You see it dent the top of the net. Boston has worked right from interfered with and pulled his man down. We saw that one. Here's Middleton coming in for the score, which is not. They don't show the full picture. Just behind that, Dwight Foster skated in front of Greshner. Goal in 2 games. And the Rangers are definitely back. Here it is. Watch Maloney. He has Duguay on his right. There's Duguay. He waits too long. Vachon comes way out. Maloney goes right around the play and puts it behind. Vachon nowhere near the net. On a busted play at center ice. Laidlaw and Johnson bouncing the puck to one another. Johnston comes up with a puck, and from about 40 feet he just took, and now hear this. And over the left shoulder of Vachon, it is a tie hockey game. That was a perfect screen setup almost. Pass! Miss! Don Maloney missed the open net. What a save by Baker! Great save, the best save of this hockey game by Baker. There's a face off on the right side of Baker. 2 Rangers were playing without sticks. Look out. Vickers and Jonathan. The penalty's been called. Vickers was playing without a stick. Greshna was playing without a stick. The two sticks are still laying on the ice.
They had to take a penalty to get a play stoppage. And Vicker thinks it.
Oh, Middleton, that's goal number 27. There's Rattel, and he waits for Middleton to get in position, puts it between Greshna's legs, and it's 4-3 with 22 seconds left in the period.
Will shoot, save, rebound, no Ranger there.
He had to veer to the bench before he could get one. There's Foster. Beck takes him out, but the puck skids away, and Middleton picks it up. Middleton throws it out in front, and Falk coming in from the left point popped it behind Baker.
Certainly not the Stanley Cup champions. Last night, 8-5 loss at home to Toronto was the 5th straight game without a win. The Islanders now have 1 victory in the last 8 games. They were trailing 4-3 in the second last night. Mike Bossy, number 55, to tie it at 4. 2 minutes later, Darryl Sittler gets his own rebound, 5-4, as Billy Smith comes out for Glenn Resch. 25 seconds later, Dennis Potvin, the wrist shot to tie it at 5-5. And then 4 minutes later, closing minutes of the second period, scramble in front. Rick Vive pokes it in the scramble. 6-5 it is the winner. The Leafs would score 2 more goals in the third to win at 8-5. Maple Leafs have now won 3 straight. They move on February 2nd against L.A. Larry Murphy's clearing pass caught Tkachuk in the right eye. He suffered sustained concussions to the brain and orbital area of the eye. His vision is still blurry, and there has been little improvement in almost 3 weeks. Originally, there was hope that Tkachuk may be returning to the lineup by now.
The Islanders now lost 5 in a row, or rather they've gone 5 in a row without a win. They've won only 1 of the last 8. Let's go to the videotape. Last night's game, 4-2 Leafs. Second period, Dennis Potvin beat Rutherford to make it 4-3. Then, 1 minute later, Mike Bossy with goal number 55 on the year, and it was a 4-4 game. But not for long, because the Leafs made it 5-4. But then Potvin came in, and bullseye, tied the game 5-5. But you could have turned your sets off there. 7-5 Leafs, open net, Saganuk makes it 8-5, and that's the way the game ended. In Philadelphia last night, the Flyers beat the Penguins 4-1. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Flyers in the home white first period. Bobby Clark beats Millen to make it 1-0. 2 minutes later, you'll see an open net because Millen is off balance, and Gorans puts it in. It's 2-0 Flyers. Second period, the move of the night. Great move by Al Hill. He beats Millen to make it 3-0. Watch out, Al. And then in the third period, it's 3-1. Holmgren makes it 4-1, and that's the way the game ended. 27 seconds. They beat the Rangers. After the game, the Detroit fans throw beer at the Rangers. The Rangers go into the stands. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up in the second period. 3-1 Detroit. And right here, it's Dave Maloney beating Gilbert to make it 3-2. 2 minutes later, Eddie Johnstone, backhander, bullseye, ties the game at 3-3. But in the third period, Miller to Peterson, beating Sotar, it's 4-3 Detroit. Only 17 seconds later, Dale McCourt, 5-3 Detroit. Now it's 6-3 Detroit. McCourt stakes the puck, scores again, and look at Sotar. Boom, break that stick. Then he throws the other piece into the stands. The game is over. The Detroit fans throw beer at the Rangers. That's 22 to Fatiu. And then Fatiu cuts his hand, by the way. The players may or may not be fined, but I think in this case, at least, the police did a good job fast. It could have been a lot worse. The Canadians made it 7 in a row without a loss. They stopped the Sabres' unbeaten streak at 12, beating Buffalo 5-2. By the way, Buffalo did not have a shot on goal in the first period. The last time that happened was 2 years ago, the Ranger-Islander game. Let's go to the videotape. Canadians in the home white in the first period. Engblom shoots. Lambert beats Sauvé on the rebound, 1-0. 6 minutes later, Doug Jarvis makes it 2-0 Montreal. In the second period, Steve Shutt, 40-footer, bullseye, 3-0 Montreal. In the third period, it's now 3-1. Acton to Lambert, 4-1, and Montreal wins it 5-2. Last night, the Islanders beat Minnesota 4-1, so the Islanders only 2 points behind St. Louis, the best record in the National Hockey League. Let's go to the videotape. First period, 1-0 Minnesota, Islanders in the dark. Recently recalled Hector Marini ties the game at 1-1. In the second period from the faceoff, Merrick to Jean Potvin, 40-footer, bullseye, 2-1 Islanders. In the third period, Butch Goring steals the puck, shoots, save, own rebound, makes it 3-1 New York. A minute and 19 seconds later, Trottier makes it 4-1. They win it 4-1. 32 saves for Chico Resch. One in the National League last night, National Hockey League in St. Louis. You had the first-place Blues against the Canadians, who had gone 9 in a row without a loss. The game ended in a 2-2 tie. Let's go to the videotape in St. Louis. No score. Blues in the home white. Blair Chapman beats Bunny LaRocque to make it 1-0 Blues. In the third period, it'll be Steve Shutt beating Layute right here on top of him. That tied the game at 1-1. However, a minute and a half later, Bertie Federico to Wayne Babbage makes it 2-1 Blues. Then, 6 minutes left in the game. Risebrough to Lambert in front, beats Layute. The game ended in a 2-2 tie. St. Louis still with the best record in the National Hockey League, and Montreal now 10 in a row without a loss. Remember last year's brawl between the Flyers and Vancouver in Vancouver? Happened again last night. Let's go to the videotape. In the second period, minute and a half left in the second period, it was 3-2 Vancouver. Tiger Williams just clobbered Bobby Clark. Bench is empty. This is Glenn Cochran of the Flyers against Jerry Butler of Vancouver. They go down and get up again. The thing that amazes me is that they fight with those helmets on, bang their hands up. This is Boldereff beating St. Croix 4-2 Vancouver. Now it's 5-3 Vancouver. Lindgren makes it 6-3, and Vancouver beats Philadelphia.
For the Islanders, of all people. After their embarrassment in Calgary during the week, here's what they did to Vancouver last night, and all in a 25-second span. Opening moments, second period, Vancouver trying to clear the puck on the right side. Here's Sutter forechecking. Steals it away, gets to Bossy, bingo. That's goal number 57 in 64 games from Mike Bossy. And then just 25 seconds later, Vancouver tries to clear again. This time far side, Merrick pesters, steals. Here comes Hector Marini, bingo. Another goal. 2 goals in 25 seconds because of forechecking. The Islanders beat Vancouver 5-1. But late last night, no Trottier, no Potvin. They had just 16 shots on goal the whole night, and they won. Playing in Los Angeles. Watch the face-off circle on the right. That's Jean Potvin. Just his second goal of the year for Jean Potvin. Think he's happy? It tied it 1-1 second period. Now early third period. Shot by Morrow from the point. It's tipped by Brent Sutter, one of the 50 or 60 Sutters in the league. His second goal in just 2 Major League games. Islanders won it 2-1. The Rangers hosting Montreal tonight at the Garden.
They all sound the same to
Yes,
you,
they do.
All right, the big story, 4 goals from Mike Bossy last night. That's 61 goals in 66 games, which means he now needs 15 goals in his last 14 games to tie Phil Esposito's all-time record of 76 goals. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up in the first period last night against Edmonton. Dennis Potvin beats Eddie Mio to make it 1-0. 3.5 minutes later, Mike Bossy, goal number 58, makes it 2-0. Then 3 minutes later, from the face-off, Pearson makes it 3-0. In the second period, it's now 4-4. Price loses the puck. Bossy, goal number 59. It's 5-4 Islanders. 2 minutes later, Langeman shoots. Bossy tip in. It's 6-4 New York. In the third period, it's now 8-6 Edmonton. Bossy again, the best goal of the night. Falling down off balance, it's 8-7. Then, a minute 46 left in the game. Cowler puts it in, and the game ends in an 8-8 tie. Will the round for your favorite team, the Rangers, Jim. They blew a 5-3 lead with 5.5 minutes left in the game. Then, of course, as you probably know by now, Nick Fotiu is suspended 8 games for going into the stands in that game 2 weeks ago against the Red Wings, and Don Maloney suspended 2 games for the same offense. Also, 7 Rangers total fined $500 apiece. All right, let's go to the videotape of last night's game. It was 3-2 Edmonton. In the third period, Hospodar shot. Vickers followed in. It was 3-3. Then, a minute and 5 seconds later, it was Vickers to Hedberg, and it was 4-3 Rangers. Then 2 minutes later, it was Vickers to Lance Nethery, who's really come on since being called up. It was 5-3 Rangers, but you should have turned your sets off there because it ended in a 5-5 tie. Rematch of last week's brawl between the Bruins and North Stars in Boston. Last night, they played in Bloomington, no brawls, and the game ended in a 3-3 tie. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up in the first period. Bruins in the dark. Rick Middleton, the former Ranger, beats Beaupre to make it 1-0 Bruins. In the second period, oh yeah, you can't get away without at least one fight. Stan Jonathan in the dark, Ron Zanussi rather, of the North Stars. 3-2 Bruins, third period. Cicerelli beats Vachon. The game ends in a 3-3 tie.
Nick Fatiu of the Rangers suspended 8 games. Don Maloney 2 games. 5 of the Rangers fined $500 apiece. That's for going after those beer-throwing fans in Detroit on February 19th. The suspensions don't begin until March 14th. Rangers considering an appeal. Last night against Edmonton, another Maloney almost lost. Dave suffered a concussion, but today he's out of the hospital. Hope he'll even be back Saturday afternoon against St. Louis. Wayne Gretzky, playing shorthanded, made it 2-1 Oilers, his 45th goal. Leading
Right, there it is! 100, Steve Shungle. 5 minutes and 50 seconds of the fourth quarter. Major indoor soccer league history. The 100.
On top of the box, he knows where Steve is, lays off a good low ball. Steve running on at full speed, shoots with power and accuracy. Richard Booth.
He tried to get the puck out. Now Greshner pulls him down. Greshner stands still. Look at him. He thought the penalty was being called. And the penalty should...
15:48 to go in the period. It is tied at 1.
There's the pass over to the right side to Stewart. And he threads the needle and went by the short side on... There's the play to the right-hand side, and here's Babbage. He comes across the blue line. It was more than 40 feet. It was about 50 feet.
Islander fans are going to say, wait a minute, timeout, give us a break. The Islanders have sent Chico Resch and Steve Tambellini to Colorado for defenseman Mike McEwen, who used to play for the Rangers, and a minor league goalie. That's it. There's no more. Now, on paper, this is an unbelievably bad trade. There has to be more than meets the eye. I mean, to make this trade, Resch and Tambellini had to be in the doghouse, period. Resch, one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League. Tambellini had 19 goals and 17 assists. How in the world do you figure this trade out from an Islanders viewpoint? Meanwhile, the Rangers, who need all the help they can get, today sent Davey Silk and Doug Sotar to the minors. That's it. More trades in the National Hockey League. Today was the trading deadline. That's why the rash of the trades. Montreal sends goalie Bunny LaRocque to Toronto, and Buffalo sends Rick Martin and Don Luce to the Los Angeles Kings. One game in the National Hockey League last night, Minnesota and Montreal, a 1-1 tie. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Pick it up in the first period from the face-off. Steve Shutt right here, bullseye, beats Beaupre to make it 1-0 Canadians. In the second period, look at this. Guy Lafleur on a breakaway. 1-on-1. Lafleur against Beaupre, and Beaupre makes the save. He had 40 saves last night. In the second period, still, it's Hartsburg to Cicerelli, back to Hartsburg, ties the game at 1-1. Then, hey, wait a minute, don't cut out of that tape, roll it. What are you doing? Show Beaupre. Come on, man, show that goalie. He's right there, 40 saves. The 19-year-old goalie, you'll have to take my word for it, he was there last night.
Coach Chico was asking to be traded last summer, but he was hoping to Minnesota, his off-season home. So the dealing of Chico, a stunner, the one-time All-Star, personifies the Islanders to many fans. But he goes to Colorado along with center Steve Tambellini for offensive-minded defenseman Mike McEwen, the former Ranger, and goalie Yari Carella, who will go to Indianapolis. Now, as a back help, check out this 3-on-1 by Detroit Sunday night. Gary McAdams scoring. The Ranger defense has been terrible. A mistake by Barry Beckett leads to yet another Detroit goal. Hey, a goaltender can save you sometimes, but if he doesn't get the help, he is just another target. So
lead in the final period and lost. Let's go to the videotape of last night's game. Second period, 1-0 Quebec. Beck shoots. Nielsen tip in. It was 1-1. Now it's 2-1 Quebec from the face-off. Greshner shoots, beats Bouchard to make it 2-2 tie. Then, 4 minutes later, Fatiu to Hospodar, and the Rangers led 3-2. In the third period, it was Nielsen to Hedberg. Hedberg beat Bouchard to make it 4-2 Rangers, but you could have turned your sets off right there because that was it for the Rangers as Quebec scored 4 straight goals and the Rangers lost 6-4. By the way, that suspension for Nick Fatiu and Maloney has been upheld. Meanwhile, the Washington Caps moved to within 2 points of the Rangers. They beat Colorado 4-3. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Pick it up right here. The Caps in the white. First period, Glenn Curry beats Phil Muir, and it's 1-0 Caps. Third period, now 3-2 Denver. Mike Gartner beats Muir, and it's a 3-3 game. Then, 4 minutes later, Veach to Jean Pronovost, and the Caps win it 4-3. By the way, Colorado will be here tonight at the Garden. Chico Resch in goal. And last night, one of your favorite players, because as you know, the night before, Chico Resch shut out the Rangers. If Smith had played bad last night or looked bad, the Islander fans would have jumped all over the Islanders and said they traded the wrong guy. Smith not only won, but he shut out Edmonton 5-0. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up in the first period. 2-0 Islanders, and it's Bossy to Trottier, beating Edwards to make it 3-0 Islanders. Then in the second period, the other way around, Trottier to Bossy. Goal number 63 on the year. It was 4-0 Islanders. Then in the third period, it was Bourne to Trottier, and Bullseye beating Edwards 5-0. That was the game. But the big story, that man right there with a mask, Billy Smith, 36 saves for Billy Smith. In Philadelphia last night, the Flyers beat Detroit 9-4. Let's go to the videotape of that game. The Flyers in the home white, first period. Kenny Linsman to Brian Propp, and Propp props it in, beat Gilbert to make it 1-0. Now it's 1-1. Gorence to the rookie Flockhart. It's 2-1 Flyers. Then, 7 minutes later, the old reliable Reggie Leach out in front, backs it in. It's 3-1 Flyers. Also in the first period, as you would suspect, a fight. Cochran of Philadelphia, Smith of Detroit. As you can see, they gave the shirts off their back to each other. Then in the second period, 3-2, and Bobby Clark scores his 300th career goal. It's 4-2. In the third period, Propp to Linsman makes it 8-3 Philadelphia. The Flyers win it 9-4.
The Rangers hadn't won in their past 6 games. They finally beat Hartford tonight, final of 6-2. Just 3:30 into the game. Look for Nielsen in front. Here comes Nielsen, number 11, 1-0 Rangers. 1 minute later, look for Allison on the far side. Takes a Vickers pass, 2-0 Rangers. 2 minutes later, the scramble in front on the power play. Vickers this time sneaks it in, 3-0 Rangers. Second period, look for Duguay, there he goes. He mops it up, 4-0 Rangers. They beat Hartford 6-2. The Islanders trying to catch St. Louis for the best record in the National Hockey League, but the Islanders tied Philly, and it looks like St. Louis is going to beat Detroit, so the Islanders will drop a point down. Islanders down 2-0 after 1 to Philly. Potvin shot, Bourne's tip, 2-1. Then it's Potvin again. Merrick tips it. It's tied 2-2. The Islanders took the lead on Clark Gillies' goal down the chute, but Philly tied them 3-3 early third period. That's the way it ended. Islanders 3, Philadelphia 3.
Yeah, it was very funny line. I'm sorry,
all right, Jim.
I brought the whole thing up.
Moving right along. Outstanding game of hockey last night. Not many fights, although they did break out in the final period. Nobody was really hurt. The Islanders of Montreal, 3-3 tie. An excellent game if you like hockey. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up in the first period right here. And it's Clark Gillies following up Nystrom's shot. It's 1-0 Islanders. Second period, 1-1. Doug Jarvis right through Billy Smith's legs. 2-1 Montreal. Then comes Andy Cowler for the Islanders. Ties the game at 2-2. But 30 seconds later, watch this. Gainey 45-footer bullseye. 3-2 Montreal. 5.5 minutes left in the game. Goring to Cowler. One more time. That's it. The game ends in a 3-3 tie at the night's Knicks Pacers.
The Islanders 3, Montreal 3. Both gearing up for the playoffs. The Islanders unbeaten in the last 8. The Canadiens have lost just once in the last 20 games. It was a 1-1 tie in the second. Canadiens, Doug Jarvis, short-handed, beats Billy Smith 2-1 Montreal. Late in the second, Anders Cowler fires it in, his 35th of the year, 2-2 the score. But 35 seconds later, Bob Gainey lets it go from 40 feet. Montreal leads 3-2. In the third, Islanders short-handed. It was Cowler again, number...
Nobody could stand that. There it is. When you see him over the shoulder. Watch Eddie Johnstone. He's on the left of your screen now. There's the pass out to Eddie. And he put it by the right side of Visor. It is 4-3. For the first time in this hockey game, the Rangers have taken the lead.
What a night for Duguay.
He's got Dave Maloney. A bad pass by Greshna.
And a bad play by Dubois, not picking up the puck, leaving it there. Hockey Club and puts it between the legs of Visor. The Rangers have a 3-goal bowl. The Rangers with 4 unanswered goals. There's Gillis. Takes a shot, cut to the left, and the backhand shot with a lot of daylight between Visor's legs.
Giant leap toward the playoffs. They beat Montreal 6-2 in Montreal. Has to be the biggest win for the Rangers up there in years. First period, Dave Maloney cruising in for the Rangers, backhands it by Sevigny, 1-0 Rangers. Second period, pass from Don Maloney, Eddie Johnstone, bonsai, 2-0 Rangers. Late second period, here comes Don Maloney, trickles in off Sevigny, 3-0. Before the period ends, Duguay, first of 2 for him, 4-0. A 6-2 romp for the Rangers, breaking Montreal's home winning streak of 24 straight games. The Islanders tied Pittsburgh today 4-4. That put the Islanders in a temporary tie with St. Louis for the best NHL record. Final 2 minutes of the game. Pittsburgh's leading it 4-3. Potvin to Nystrom, and bingo. Islanders tie up Pittsburgh 4-4. Tonight, St. Louis leading Buffalo 4-3 in the third. St. Louis could move 2 points up, but they've played an extra game. Wayne Gretzky today, 1 assist for Edmonton. That ties him with Phil Esposito's record of 152 points. The great Gretzky, though, has 4 games left to beat Phil. Washington 5-4. That moves the Islanders into a tie with St. Louis for the best record, and it hurts Washington's playoff chances along the way. First period, Islanders shorthanded. Goring to Trottier beats Palmateer. 2-1 Islanders. Pretty goal. Now third period, trailing 4-3 power play. Pearson blasts it and ties it. 5.5 minutes left. Bossy in front, wins it 5-4. Bossy's 68th goal in 76 games. Last night, impressive win for the Rangers. 6-2 in Montreal. Wins like a straight championship. They did it in dramatic form today. Score tied with St. Louis. Just 30 seconds left. Alberto to Jungle. Jungle wins the game 6-5 with just half a minute left, and he slides in safe. The Arrows are the champions once again, winning it on the road in St. Louis. And for the Arrows, a victory lap with their trophy. For the champions, congratulations.
The Islanders last night, but may have found themselves a goalie. 22-year-old rookie Steve Weeks just called up. First National Hockey League game, 20 saves last night, and normally played well enough to win, but not last night. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up right here. In the second period, from the faceoff, Trottier to Bobby Bourne, Islanders home white. Bourne beats Weeks. It's 1-0 Islanders. In the third period, Howard, a nice drop pass to Merrick, who beats Weeks, and it's 2-0 Islanders. 6.5 minutes later, Don Maloney to Mike Allison. The only goal of the night for the Rangers. That's it, 2-1. Islanders win it, and thanks to that guy, number 31, Billy Smith, with 31 saves. Smith, by the way, has now gone 10 games without a loss. So the Islanders and Blues remain tied for first with 2 to play. The Rangers must win 1 of the remaining 2 games, either tonight against Chicago or the Flyers Sunday, or perhaps tie both games to assure themselves of a playoff spot.
Looks like the Islanders are about to nail down the top position in the National Hockey League. They lead Washington 3-0 late third period. Early in the first period, though, Merrick blasts it. Nystrom the rebound. Beautiful pass over to Howard, who scores it. 1-0 Islanders. It's now 3-1 Islanders in the third period with Washington. And St. Louis lost this afternoon to Minnesota 5-0. So if the Islanders hang on and win this game, they will finish number 1. Here comes Tim Young for Minnesota. They are shorthanded. So Young goes to Anderson. Anderson beats Liut. Minnesota outshot 38-22, and still they beat St. Louis 5-0 despite that margin of shooting. And the Rangers, of course, qualified for the playoffs last night, even though they're 7 games under 500. So technically they're a losing team, and yet they make the playoffs because everybody does. Here was the clincher last night against Chicago. Kotsopoulos outside, blasted. Maloney tipped it. The Rangers led it 2-1. An open netter made the final score over Chicago 3-1. The happiest Ranger had to be rookie Mike Allison. Gives a stick away as he's leaving the ice at the Garden last night.
Len Berman with that and the rest of the sports when we return.
Thank you, Jim. Why were the Rangers playing their hearts out to beat Philadelphia last night? Was it pride? Was it ending the season on a winning note? No, if they won, they'd play Los Angeles in the playoffs Wednesday. If they tied or lost the game, there was a chance they'd have to play Montreal. That was the incentive for the Rangers last night. Second period, Nielsen went to Beck. He faked it, skated, got it over to Nielsen, who scored it. Get excited, Ulf. But only when Eddie Johnstone scored the open netter did they sew up a trip to the coast on Wednesday. And 2 cheers for Steve Baker. He shut out Philadelphia twice in 1 week. As for the Islanders, they open at home Wednesday with Toronto, the same Toronto team that shocked them in 7. That was 3 years ago. Interesting game, though, last night for the Islanders. They left half a dozen of their regulars home, and they wind up beating Buffalo in Buffalo for the first time in 5 years. And they trailed 3-0 after 1 period. So early second period, Gord Lane, nice move, makes it 3-1 Buffalo. Here comes Hector Marini. His shot hits the post. Billy Carroll, easy goal, 3-2. 2 minutes later, it's Carroll again on a backhander. He doubled his goals for the whole year in 2 minutes. Then on the faceoff, Merritt got it back to Pearson. Pearson boomed it. 4 goals to take a 4-3 lead. Pearson broke his stick on the shot, and it went in anyway. And the Islanders won the season finale. Well, why?
Los Angeles ties up this series. We'll get details from Warner Wolf when the 6 o'clock report continues.
Fighting in disguise, or hockey in disguise. How about that Ranger game? Did you see that last night, Jim? Huh?
No.
You don't care about that.
No, I really don't.
It was, well, I'll tell you, it was bad. There's no question about it. Stanley Cup record, 269 penalty minutes, 6 guys thrown out of the game. Dave Maloney, torn ligaments, right knee. He's through for the playoffs. Hospodar may be suspended for Game 3. I still say, if the owners really wanted to cut out fighting, which they don't, they're afraid some people wouldn't show up for the games, all you'd have to do is simply say you drop your gloves, you're out of the game. You can't fight with the gloves on. All right, let's go to the videotape, pick it up in the first period, talk about sneak punches. Look at Barry Beck's left hook. Boom! Oh, that's it against Rick Chartraw. Down goes Chartraw. Beck thrown out of the game. In the end of the first period now, look at this, Hospodar, boom! Takes a shot at goalie Mario Lessard. Then it spreads into the stands. This is Nick Fatiu and Kings goalie Paul Peugeot, both of them in street clothes. Then 6:55 left in the game. Mark Hardy cuts down Dave Maloney. It's all over for Maloney. He's out of the playoffs. Now it's 4-4, 2:44 left in the game. Dean Hopkins beats Steve Baker, and the Kings win it 5-4. So Game 3 here tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. Meanwhile, the Islanders made it 2 in a row over the Leafs. They've now outscored the Leafs 14-3 in the 2 games. Islanders won it 5-1 last night. Let's go to the videotape, pick it up here in the second period. No score. Look at these moves by Bossy. Look at those moves. He beats Bunny LaRocque to make it 1-0 Islanders. 39 seconds later, Trottier stuffs it in from the corner, his first goal of the night. That made it 2-0 Islanders. Then, 11 minutes later, into the period, Trottier again, 3-0 Islanders. In the third period, from the faceoff, Bossy to Trottier, the hat trick, 5-1 Islanders. Pick up those hats, ref. Pick them up. So the Islanders lead 2-0. Game 3 tomorrow night in Toronto. In Boston last night. Now, here's an interesting story. The North Stars came in the league in the 67-68 season. They had never won a game in Boston in their 14-year history. Now, all of a sudden, they've won 2 in 2 nights. They beat the Bruins 9-6 last night. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up right here. Bruins in the dark, in the light, rather. This is Stan Jonathan and Brad Maxwell. This is in the first period. Second period, it's 3-3, and Maxwell beats Vachon. It's 4-3 Minnesota. 5-3 Minnesota. McAdam makes it 6-3 Minnesota. In the third period, 7-4 Minnesota. Kevin Maxwell makes it 8-4. He said, that's it, and they win it 9-6. In Philadelphia, the Flyers made it 2-0, beat Quebec 8-5. Let's go to the videotape, pick it up right here. It was Bill Barber night. Barber in the first period beats Bouchard to make it 1-0. Now it's 2-1 Philadelphia, still first period. Barber 50-footer makes it 3-1. How about the hat trick for Barber? Bullseye. He's got it. 4-2. Philly wins it 8-5.
Under fans tonight, Brian Trottier's ankle reported to be okay. He'll be able to play in the opening game of the quarterfinals on Thursday night.
Stop cold early. And with just 45 seconds left in the first, Butch Goring, a crusher, wheels in front, and it's 2-0. Islanders busted it open early in the second. 3 goals within a minute and 44 seconds. Dennis Potvin made it 5-0, and the final 8-2. Well, for the Rangers, it was another story. 6-3 loss to St. Louis. The hot Rangers sidetracked in game number 1. And the turning point in the second, Rangers trailing 3-2. Mike Liut with the save on Barry Beck that would have tied it. Instead, the Blues come the other way, and Mike Crombeen beats Steve Baker. It's 4-2 St. Louis. Blues with 5 shots in the second period. They scored on 3. Bernie Federko made it 5-2. Afterwards, Marv in the locker room. First talk with Federko.
Bernie, the feeling before the game was that St. Louis would be the exhausted club coming off the double overtime victory, but it did not seem to be the case tonight.
Well, Marv, I think two things can be said about that. I think physically we were tired, but I think emotionally we were very, very high. We were very psyched for the game because we had such a big win the other night.
You know, you read the papers that they're going to be tired, and that night you think that they're going to be tired.
Maxwell fires from the point. Steve Payne in front, the tip, hits a defenseman, trickles by Don Edwards, and it goes in. He can't get it. Minnesota wins it by the score of 4-3. At Philadelphia, the Flyers shut out Calgary 4-0. Paul Holmgren slammed in 2 goals. He gets it from Brian Propp right at the right place at the right time. 4-0 Flyers goalie Rick St. Croix, spectacular. He kicked out 35 shots to blank the Flames.
As you just heard, so it's the Irish connection, Tom McDonald and I tonight. Except they are amazing, they're inspired, they're playing great hockey. Tonight at the Garden, they skated, they hit, and they beat the St. Louis Blues 6-3. The Rangers didn't waste any time, just 21 seconds in, practically off the face-off. It's Ron Greshner. Shoots, his own rebound, Rangers lead 1-0. St. Louis never known to lay down. Here it's Wayne Babbage. Kicks it in. 1-1. Then the connection, the Swedish connection. It's Anders Hedberg playing with the puck behind the net. Looking for Ulf Nielsen. 2-1 Rangers lead. Barry Beck is playing inspirational hockey. Here he is. He shoots. 3-1 Rangers. Now it's Greshner. Looking for Allison. He gets it to him. Allison on the breakaway. Score, 4-1 Rangers lead. Barry Beck again. He shoots from the point. Steve Vickers on the rebound, 5-2 after 2 periods. Lance Nethery added another. St. Louis got 1, the final. New York 6, St. Louis 3. Rangers now lead 2-1 in their best-of-7 series. Amen, the Rangers are doing it. Next game tomorrow night at the Garden.
John, the other team, I'm rooting for your Rangers and for the Islanders. Personally, I'd love to see the Islanders and the Rangers go against each other in the semifinals. Before the Islanders, who've won 5 straight in the playoffs, took off for the Northland, Oren Stevens caught up with...
Edmonton have a weakness that you've seen so far?
Well, they're a very strong club. You know, offensively, they move the puck as well as any team in the league, especially in the offensive end. They're very quick, they're young, they're strong. You know, we have to work in their end, and they're a young defenseman, and you know, if we can execute in their end, we should be able to you know, to get some goals. But the big thing, we have to execute in our end also, because to shut them out.
Bill, you have to keep a special...
Second period action now. The great Gretzky pulls the trigger, beats Billy Smith. How sweet it is, 1-0 Edmonton. The Islanders on the power play, they'll come right back. Mike Bossy gets the goal to tie it at 1-1. Still in the second period, Gretzky again beats Billy Smith. After 2 periods of play, Edmonton on top by a score of 2-1. They're in the final period right now up in Edmonton, and the Oilers have upped their lead to a score of 4-1. The great Gretzky has the hat trick. In other words,
Larry Curry in a breakaway. Score! Yari Curry, the Finnish rookie, has just cemented this one at 5-2.
Pretty goal. The Islanders buzzing, coming close, looking like they may get another goal here in the third period. Number 4, Lowe, deflects the puck. And who picks it up? Yari Curry, 27, Tonelli in pursuit, but he can't catch him. And quick move, one move, go to the backhand. That's it.
The Edmonton Oilers get themselves another standing ovation. That's how they were greeted when they came into the Northlands Cup, really leaving it. With a standing ovation from an appreciative home crowd, as they have got themselves back into this quarterfinal series against the defending Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders.
Well, hold off on the Parkway playoffs. Maybe, hopefully it'll still happen, but maybe the Rangers thought it was in the bag last night. A 3-1 lead in games, and they led the game 5, 3-1, and they blew it. So game 6 tomorrow night at the Garden, and they better win that one, or else game 7's out in St. Louis. Second period last night in St. Louis. Carol Vadnais will score it on this side. First goal he's scored in months. And they led it 3-1. maybe they got overconfident. Shouldn't have. The Blues zapped them. Here's the game winner. Pedersen beats Baker on the far side. 4-3 Blues. And on top of that, with 2 minutes left, Steve Baker, who's been immense, took a shot right off the mask in the face area. And down he went. He has a swollen eye. The swelling will determine if he can play tomorrow night. That is something to watch closely for the Rangers. The Islanders nearly pulled that game out last night, trailing 4-2 with 2 minutes left. They nearly did it. 95 seconds left. The Islanders pulled within 1, 4-3. Bossy got it, the second goal. I had a feeling they'd tie it, the way Bossy tied the 50-goal record that night, remember? Less than a minute left. Here comes Potvin, drilled it. Moog somehow barely held on. And I thought this one was great. The Islanders had pulled goalie Smith. Here comes the shot. Can McEwen save it? There goes the puck, and he stops it from going in. But the Oilers won the game anyway, 4-3. What a 24 hours for Larry. You saw him. The foul ball at Riverfront Stadium. And when it goes in this, here comes Randy Cobb, the high school senior. Randy Cobbman somehow grabbed on. Here's what he said afterwards.
There's a foul ball. Rangers or the Islanders both going on to a Game 6 in their quarterfinal series at the Coliseum. Edmonton hanging right in. They beat the Islanders by the score of 4-3. This the kind of night it was. Islander defenseman Dave Langevin clobbered by the shot taken by Lee Fogelin. This coming off Stefan Pearson's fractured jaw. Langevin's x-rays were negative today, but he's doubtful for tomorrow. 2 more assists last night for Wayne Gretzky. 1 on this goal by Glenn Anderson. It tied the game at 2 late first. Late second, it's Brent Kelligan beating Billy Smith, and Edmonton now leads 3-2. 15-19 into the third. It's Matty Hagman on the backhander to make it 4-2 for the Oilers. Mike Bossy scored his second of the night with 1.5 minutes left, but that was it. 4-3 final. Now it's back to Edmonton, and we talked about games.
To go out there and play like we have our backs against the wall and realize that we need Friday's game badly. You can't go into a 7th game no matter who you're playing against. And
for the Rangers last night in St. Louis, the Blues finally hit people, finally took the body. Goalie Mike Liut was outstanding. St. Louis with a 4-3 win when Carol Vadnais scored his first goal in some 51 games. Early second period, it was a 3-1 Ranger lead, but the Blues came back. Big goal here by Larry Patey, doing it off the face-off. That closed it within 1, and then high-scoring Jorgen Pedersen, who had been invisible in the series, beat Steve Baker to tie the game at 3 with 5 minutes left, second period. Now 6:09 of the third. Pedersen again giving the Blues a 4-3 win. And I talked with the Swedish rookie, the question mark coming off the shot he took on the forehead late in the game, and we talked about it last.
Shot was coming in from the point, and I stepped up about 2 feet on top of my crease. I went down on the butterfly to try to take it in my chest so that I could control the rebound and get a whistle. And as I started down, somebody got a stick on it at the last minute. I think it was Dunlop, perhaps, and the puck just deflected up and hit me just over the eye.
Were you conscious through it all?
Well, I guess I kind of blacked out there for a few minutes. Jerry Maloney, our trainer, got down there and put a few sniffers under my nose, and that woke me up for the most part, but nothing really serious.
I thought I was sleeping during this, and I wasn't sleeping. New York gearing up for the start of that Islander-Rangers semifinal series, which you saw on that tape. It'll begin Tuesday night at the Coliseum. They'll also play there Thursday night before returning to the Garden Saturday night. 2 years ago, Rangers and Islanders met in the semis, and the Rangers took it in 6, and the Rangers went on to the finals against Montreal, lost it in 5. After the Rangers beat the Blues last night at the Garden 7-4 to win that quarterfinal series 4-2, Channel 2 sports producer Andy Jones talked with some of the Ranger players about the upcoming Islanders series.
You talk an Islander-Rangers series, you're splitting hairs. You know, it's such an emotional series, and you know, there's 2 fine hockey clubs. They're going to go at each other, and they're going to go with their best. And I think that over the course of time, it's just a matter of who wants it the most and who's willing to sacrifice the most.
We can't key on Bossy. We can't key on Trottier. I think if we do that, you know, Potvin will come up big, Gillies will come up big, Goring will come up big. They got so many good players, you know, like I say. We can't concentrate on one guy. We have to pretty well just play a disciplined game, and that'll take care of itself.
Beat Edmonton last night 5-2 to take that series 4 games to 2. And the Isles can thank the Philadelphia Flyers for not having to play tomorrow after a 5,600-mile round-trip plane trip from Edmonton. Had Calgary beaten the Flyers to take that series, the semis would have started tomorrow, but Philly won. Now the Isles can rest, and in last night's game, Bobby Nystrom got the game-winning goal as he scored the 3rd goal of the night, and the Islanders won at 5-2. The last time Bobby Nystrom had a game winner last year in a very special overtime period against the Flyers, Nystrom's goal gave the Islanders the Stanley Cup. Isles and Rangers have played 4 times this year, by the way, each team winning twice and each team winning at home.
Showdown, the Battle of New York. Round 2 is brought to you in part by your New York, New Jersey Fair. Now your host, Bruce King.
This is what the fuss is all about. It's the Stanley Cup. The Islanders and the Rangers will face off at the Nassau Coliseum about 30 minutes from now in Game 1 of the New York version of the Stanley Cup Finals. In the past 9 years, the Ranger-Islander rivalry has become one of the most intense in the National Hockey League. Tonight, we'll look back on that rivalry, and we'll go live to the Nassau Coliseum where Mike Barry and Richie Powers are standing by with special reports on how the Islanders and the Rangers got to where they are tonight. Also, we'll visit with a couple of players who were in goal when the Rangers and the Islanders met 2 years ago in the semifinals, John Davidson and Chico Resch. So we invite you to stay tuned. To have his name inscribed on this cup, the Stanley Cup. And if you're a Ranger fan, you probably know the Rangers haven't won the Stanley Cup since 1940. It's been 41 years. And right over here, you see the Rangers in 1940. You look at the great names of the Rangers there. And ironically enough, Craig Patrick's grandfather was the manager of that team. He's inscribed right down here on the Stanley Cup for the first time, and their names are all there. You look down there, you see Bossy and Potvin and Trottier and Gillies, Smith and Resch. They're all there. And oh, they would love to win it again. You can bet that. And I'll bet you can still remember that overtime goal that Bobby Nystrom scored in Game 6 against the Flyers last May 24th that brought the Islanders their first Stanley Cup. Oh, what a goal that was. You see the Islander fans going wild there. When the 1980 and 81 season opened, the Islanders set 2 goals for themselves. And as Mike Barry reports, as of now, the Islanders have achieved just one of those goals.
We go out with the idea of winning, and we go out with the idea of playing right down to the final wires so that we can gain that victory.
It went right to the wire. The Islanders finishing on a hot streak to pull away from St. Louis and win the overall points championship April 4th as they whipped the Washington Capitals on the second to last day of the regular season. Then it was on to the playoffs and daily workouts in preparation for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, the last 17 games we only lost one, so I feel we should come out the victor. It's just to matter how many games.
The Islanders made short work of the Leafs, sweeping them 3 straight, led by Brian Trottier's 6 goals.
We played good, sound, fundamental hockey, and we came out on top. That's where we want to be. It was a confidence booster for everybody because everybody contributed.
Then it was on to the quarterfinals and a date with the young Edmonton Oilers, hot off a 3-game sweep of Montreal. Game 1, Nassau Coliseum, a rout. Islanders win 8-2. Billy Smith, a great game in goal, shutting out Wayne Gretzky.
They have a good hockey team. It skates well, you know, and you never know what can happen in playoff hockey, so we just got to get out there and work as hard as we can.
Game 2, Dennis Potvin takes charge. The Islander captain came up with 3 goals, 2 assists, tying a record as the Islanders won 6-3.
Much the way we used to be 5-6 years ago. A lot of young legs and a lot of desire, and they'll never really give up. You know, it's not like some of the older teams at times that'll drop.
Game 3 shifted to Edmonton. Home cooking agreed with the young Oilers, and the great Gretzky came alive, scoring 3 goals as Edmonton won 6-3, the Isles' first loss in 6 playoff games. Game 4, the Oilers had the Islanders on the ropes. They forced overtime, where defenseman Ken Morrow, former Olympic hero, rose to the occasion, firing in the game winner. It ended 5-4. Edmonton did win Game 5 on the Islanders' home ice, 4-3 the final, sending the Islanders on a 5,600-mile round trip to Edmonton.
We've gone through adverse conditions in the playoffs before, and it seems like we've always done it the hard way, and you know, we're very confident we can go back there and win.
Game 6 back at Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Islanders win 5-2. They take the series 4-2 and head into the semifinals. Mike Bossy feeding Mike McEwen here. Bossy is the leading scorer in the playoffs, 8 goals, 13 assists, 21 total points. The Islanders achieve their first goal, and that's the regular season championship. Their second goal, repeating as Stanley Cup champions. Right now, the Rangers are standing in the Islanders' way.
And Mike Barry is standing by right now at the Nassau Coliseum, where he'll cover the Islanders for us during the Rangers series. And Mike, have the Islanders now maybe drawn the toughest team in the playoffs in the Rangers?
Bruce, I think you're indeed right. I think the Rangers may be the toughest team because, after all, who expected the Rangers to get this far? They finished 13th in the overall season, won over 30 games. The Islanders won the overall championship, finishing first. They won 48. So the Islanders will have their work cut out for them. But let me point out, the Islanders very seldom lose at home, and if this thing goes 7 games, 4 of the 7 will be played right here at the Nassau Coliseum, where you can hear them taking their warm-ups out on the ice now, a good crowd on hand. One more thing, Bruce, since February 17th, the Islanders have lost here at the Coliseum only once, last week against Edmonton.
Because they must play games 1 and 2 on the unfriendly confines, as you know, of the Nassau Coliseum. But it's really been 2 different seasons for the Broadway Blue Shirts, as Richie Powers reports.
Yeah, New Rangers 1980-81 is only 81 from March. That's it, or, yeah, from March. Before that.
No truer words spoken. The Rangers, through the first half of the season, would have looked better on General Hospital than on ice. Injuries and an obvious lack of direction made the first half of the season a true nightmare. Ulf Nilsson missed 27 games with a broken arm, and Ron Duguay was lost for 29 games with a sliced tendon. John Davidson out for the year in November. Walt Tkachuk through for the year, and maybe his career, with an eye injury. 300 manpower games lost. 37 players injured during the year, and yet they came back. The turnaround began in the middle of March against Boston.
With 10 games to go in the season, we had Philadelphia twice, the Islanders once, Buffalo, Boston, Montreal. And when you look at those teams, 7 out of the last 10 games, and you're fighting for a playoff spot, the guys decided to play playoff hockey.
Against the Chicago Blackhawks, the Rangers clinched 13th place in the standings and then stormed into the playoffs as a new team.
Knew this club was always good enough on paper, and then all of a sudden we started playing like it. And we knocked off all the big clubs, and it gave it a lot of confidence, and everybody got over their injuries, and everyone gave an equal part. And now we're doing terrific.
The first round of the playoffs, the Rangers split the first 2 in L.A. That included the huge bench-clearing brawl at the end of the first period in Game 2, and returned to New York with a new attitude.
Well, I think it showed that nobody can push us around, you know, and so we can play, you know, any kind of hockey, tough hockey, good hockey, you know, and whichever way you want to play, we can play, and I think that brought everybody pretty close together.
That second game in L.A. proved costly, though, as they lost Dave Maloney, who just may be back if the Rangers get by the Islanders.
Well, if we get into the finals, I hope to play. I hope that the club will keep going. You can always use the money, and I hope to play in the finals.
After finishing off the Kings in New York, the Rangers moved on to St. Louis, lost Game 1, and in Game 2 were 2 goals down. And they came back to score 4 unanswered goals, and many saw that as the key to their finishing off the Blues in 6.
That put the team together much more, because we were losing 3-1 and come back from that game. I think it's one of those character builders.
It's been the turning point for us so far.
Now it's on to the Islanders in the semis, and the Rangers are ready.
We're going to be putting our best out there at all times, and again, whoever wants it the most will probably be the team that'll be the most successful.
Forecast the Islanders series for us.
What, you crazy?
And Richie, you know, as you look at this game tonight, Game 1, there's the feeling around town that the pressure's all on the Islanders, that the Rangers, they should be able to skate free and easy tonight. Do you get that feeling out there that they're very relaxed?
Well, Bruce, if the Rangers are skating loose and easy, I don't feel it now. They're out there and they're like a bomb ready to explode because they're playing the best team in hockey. And what is most important for the Rangers is this first game. They can win the next one, but they've got to win this one. And these people are on and ready to win this one. Because if they don't win it, they're going to have a 7-game series. And if they do win it, it's down to 6 games. And you know what? They don't want to come back here to the Coliseum because it's too far from New York. Bruce, back to you.
Until
before the Islanders and the Rangers go at it in Game 1 of their best-of-7 semifinal series. How would you like to be sitting in one of those locker rooms thinking about how tough this night's going to be? Because in 9 years of competition between the two teams, they're all but even. You watch this. In 9 years, the Rangers have won 25 games and the Islanders 24. The Rangers have also outscored the Islanders 184 goals to 180. But the series between the two teams has become more than just wins and losses and scoring goals. It's the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA playoffs, all wrapped into one for both the teams and their fans. It's for the bragging rights in New York.
It's probably going to be the best hockey you'll see around.
It's going to be a good, tough series. It's good for the people in New York. It's good for hockey in general, and it's good for our club.
You have to go all the way back to the old Dodger-Yankees series to really match it. The Giants and the Jets, the Knicks and the Nets, and the Yankees and the Mets have never met in the playoff game. But this is the third time in 7 years that the Rangers and the Islanders have gone at it in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
The games are always not chippy, but just hard-hitting, because they don't play chippy. We don't really play that chippy. We just, I think it'd be a lot of body checking and, like hard hockey. That's what it's going to come down to.
This year, the Islanders and the Rangers have played 4 times, with the Islanders winning the 2 on their home ice, and the Rangers doing the same at Madison Square Garden. It was the Islanders who spoiled Craig Patrick's coaching debut when they outskated the Rangers 6-4 at the Nassau Coliseum on November 22nd. But the Rangers came back to even the score on January 2nd as they defeated the Islanders 3-1 for their 16th win at the Garden against the Islanders against only 8 losses. The Rangers then embarrassed the Islanders on February 4th with a 9-3 win in a fight-filled game that saw Don Maloney score the hat trick and his brother Dave provide the fireworks in a battle with Dennis Potvin. But the Islanders got their revenge on April 2nd at the Coliseum as they outscored the Rangers 2-1 as Craig Patrick played rookie Steve Weeks in goal.
It doesn't matter how you did with them during the season or, who you played against or anything. It's a whole new ball game, and everybody starts at 0 and works their way out from there.
So it's obviously a series in which the record book means absolutely nothing and anything could happen. And why not? Because when New York meets New York, it has to be good. Oh, it should be something tonight, the Nassau Coliseum. And of course, with a rivalry the likes of this, the fan interest in New York, oh, it's incredible. Vince Lipari is outside the Nassau Coliseum right now, with the fans still crowding in for Game 1 tonight. Vince?
Well, Bruce, the crowd outside here at the Nassau Coliseum, well, you can hear them in the background. They've been milling around, waiting for the shootout, the rivalry between the Islanders and the Rangers to begin. Just to give you an idea how hot this series is, I was walking around earlier, and right now scalp tickets are going for up to $150. There have been people waiting here since early 9 o'clock this morning online, waiting for some cancellations possibly. And as you can hear, the crowd, a slightly biased crowd. If you ask them, who are you for? Well, obviously that's a slightly biased crowd, and therefore the Islanders, the last time the Islanders and the Rangers met was in 1979, the semifinal playoffs. The Rangers won. This time the Islanders want revenge. Back to you, Bruce.
Can you believe that crowd? Thanks, Vince. What's it like really now to play in a game like this, and what's it like to really win the Stanley Cup? We have 2 guys here who know, and we'll ask them how they see the series right after this. Stay tuned. Series like this, it's important to talk with the players who have been there, who know what it's all about. And that's why our guests tonight are a couple of players who were in opposite goals 2 years ago when the Islanders and the Rangers collided in the semifinals. First, where there's Glenn Chico Resch. Oh, what a goal he is for the Islanders, who started in goal in 3 of those 1979 playoff games and holds the club record with a 23-game unbeaten string. Glenn Chico Resch had himself quite a series for the Islanders against the New York Rangers in 1979. The opposite goal, the veteran John Davidson, who was the hero of the Rangers' dramatic march to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1979, now recovering from knee surgery, working as an assistant coach with the Rangers, and oh, he is going to be so busy.
I don't know. Where was that?
We'll find out. Hockey. All right, who's got the puck? Here it is. So, the Islanders win it 5-2, lead 1 game to none. Of course, what does that mean? Anytime you win the first game of a 7-game series, it means all you have to do is split the remaining 6. While in this case, the Rangers, to win the series, would have to come back and win 4 out of 6. The Islanders, by the way, outshot the Rangers 31-20 last night. If you haven't seen it, let's go to the videotape. Here it is, first period. Islanders in the home white, Rangers dark. Peter Wallen to Hedberg. He beats Billy Smith right here. It's 1-0 Rangers. In the second period, 16 seconds in, Lane shoots, Sutter on the deflection, and it's a 1-1 game. 3.5 minutes later, Nethery to Wallen to Hospodar, and it's 2-1 Rangers. Do that dance, Ed. But 1:16 later, it's Mike McEwen, 30-footer, bullseye, and it's a 2-2 game. 2 minutes later, Goring off Tonelli's skate accidentally, and it's 3-2 Islanders. In the third period, Tonelli shoots first. They gave the goal to Goring. They give it back to Tonelli, and it was 4-2 Islanders. 4.5 minutes left in the game. Billy Carroll makes it 5-2, and that's the way it ended. Tomorrow night, same time, Nassau Coliseum. In Calgary last night, where they play at the Stampede Corral, Minnesota beat the Flames 4-1. Let's go to the videotape. It was all Minnesota in the dark. Look at this. From blue line to blue line, Craig Hartsburg over the blue line, over the red line, over the blue line, between two defenders, shoots and scores. Boy, you're not going to see a goal like that for a while. 1-0. In the second period, Brad Palmer to Timmy Young, sneaks around the net, puts it in, and it's 2-0 Minnesota. Now it's 2-1. It's Young to Gordy Roberts to make it 3-1. They win it 4-1. Minnesota, by the way, had 44 shots on goal.
Warner switches to the Garden, where the Islanders have not been too good.
No, that's right.
The Rangers were that exciting in the Coliseum.
Well, that's right. You know, this is interesting now. You'd say, well, why should it make any difference? You know, it's not like baseball where the dimensions perhaps are different. One stadium suits one club more than the other. The ice, it's 200 feet. Right. That's it. But something happens to the Rangers, or rather to the Islanders, when they play in the Garden. So 3 of the next 5 games will be at the Garden. Obviously, the Rangers are going to have to win all 3 if they're going to stay alive. Or, put it in perspective, the Rangers have to win 4 of the next 5 or they are through. The Islanders, by the way, have now outshot the Rangers 60-40 in the 2 games. In case you missed it, let's go to the videotape of last night's game. Here was the goal of the night. Dean Talafas on his stomach puts it in to make it 2-1 Rangers. Now it's 3-1 Rangers, but that was it. Goring's 40-footer made it 3-2. 2 minutes, 10 seconds later, McEwen to Bossy, and it was 3-3. 2 minutes, 20 seconds later, from the face-off, Gord Lane shoots. Goring puts it in. It's 4-3 Islanders. Then, watch this, Hospodar, right elbow, into Bossy's face, boom. 2 minutes for elbowing. I'll tell you what, if that had been the Flyers and Hospodar did that to Bobby Clark, the Flyers would have been all over Hospodar. Third period, now 5-3 Islanders, Trottier to Caller, and it's 6-3. Then 3 minutes later, Bossy, bullseye, obviously recovered from the blow to the face, 7-3, the Islanders win it. Wolf. All right, Rollin, if you were a Ranger fan, certainly you can't be disappointed. Nobody figured the Rangers would make the semifinals anyway. If you're an Islander fan, no longer can people say the Islanders choke against the Rangers and can't win at the Garden. That jinx is gone. The Islanders outplayed the Rangers, they outshot the Rangers, and they outscored the Rangers. In the end, the series did look like a first-place team against the 13th-place team, and that's what it was. Let's go to the videotape. Pick it up 1 minute and 2 seconds into the first period. Nystrom to Tonelli. He beats Steve Baker. The Islanders led 1-0. 12.5 minutes later, Bossy, bullseye. It's 2-0 Islanders, and Bossy says, take that. All right, gentlemen. 3.5 minutes later, Bossy again. Here he goes with a backhander. It's 3-0 Islanders. Then, 1 minute 29 into the second period, Goring on a breakaway. It's 4-0 Islanders. Finally, the Rangers wake up. Greshner makes it 4-1 right here in the second period. 4 minutes later, Duguay to Beck, and it's 4-2. Are the Rangers coming back? No. Third period, Dwayne Sutter makes it 5-2. That was it right there. Meanwhile, unless the Flames suddenly win 3 in a row, it's going to be the Islanders and the North Stars for the Stanley Cup. Last night, the North Stars beat the Flames 7-4 to lead 3-1. Let's go to the videotape of that game. Pick it up in the second period. It's 3-2 Minnesota, and Dino Ciccarelli, dance it, Dino, makes it 4-2. And then after a dance like that, he's got to score again, right? Right, he does to make it 5-2. In fact, Dino got the hat trick. Game 5 tomorrow night in Calgary.
These are now ancient history. Tonight it's the Minnesota North Stars as the Islanders try to bring home their second Stanley Cup in a row. Len Berman is live now at Nassau Coliseum for Game 1 of the finals. Len?
Well, Roland, as you can see, the ice is quiet. The only people in here are ushers and the vendors. The players are all here, but the fans won't come in for another 20 minutes or so. Game time 90 minutes away. The Islanders I saw coming in were very confident. I spoke briefly with Mike Bossy, and he told me where a couple of years ago the Islanders might have been overconfident had they gotten past the Rangers. That wouldn't happen now 2 years later. They're a much more mature and much more confident hockey team, and they know the task at hand. I don't think this is going to be a sweep the way it was with the Rangers. Don't expect 4 straight games as it was in the Parkway playoff. A couple of reasons. Number one, Minnesota is a good hockey team. Take a look at Dino Ciccarelli, their outstanding rookie, 11 goals a record. They have those Dino the Dinosaur dolls that they wave out in Minnesota. But here they have something better on Long Island. It's called the Stanley Cup. Remember this scene? Nearly 1 year ago now on ice as the Rangers knocked off the Flyers in 6. As for a prediction this time around, 6 games sounds good. It will not be as exciting, one beer salesman tells me, though, because it's not the Flyers. But it is the North Stars. Let's go with 6 games, wrapping it up a week from Saturday night in Minnesota. Back to the
What's
studio.
the line, Len?
Lines, Jim? We don't betting? What are you talking about?
All right, Len. Water, what's the line?
Well, tonight the Islanders are goal-and-a-half favorite if you want to go in goals. I was just thinking, you know,
Yes.
people talk about long seasons.
Yes.
Do you realize both the North Stars and the Islanders, counting the exhibition season, regular season, the playoffs, they both played over 100 games already. Season started back in September.
But when did they start
exhibition
practicing?
Season. Well, the exhibition season, you figure September, this is May, that's 8 months.
A long season.
You know, so, by the way, the Islanders have won 14 of the last 15 games in the Nassau Coliseum. All right, watching Jerry...
Midway through the third for a 2-1 Islander win. February 7th at the Coliseum, Bobby Bourne gives the Islanders a 5-1 lead. Late first period, but Steve Kristoff scores in the final minute and a half of the game to get a come-from-behind 5-5 tie. February 23rd, Minnesota, it's Butch Goring opening a 3-1 lead right here. 4-1, the final, a game that had its testy moments, but for the most part...
Pope having been shot, but hopefully now recovering. And as you know, the Pope was quite an outdoorsman, very much an enthusiast of the world of sports, particularly skiing. And I'm sure that even in view of the magnitude and the tragedy of the event, that certainly he from his bed would not mind at all to have you and others like you to talk about that world he loves so well, too, the world of sports.
I hope so. It is a little awkward.
Yes, but I think it's understandable that it can be done.
All right. Changing the subject just for a couple of minutes here, the Islanders made it 15 out of 16 in the Nassau Coliseum last night, almost unbeatable at home, and beating the North Stars. You realize the North Stars are the youngest team in the National Hockey League. Each player averages 22 and a half years old, and they also have the least amount of experience in the National Hockey League, just about a year and 2 months per player. All right, let's go to the videotape of last night's game, first period. It was really all over right here. 2:54 in, Caller on the tip-in from Langeman to make it 1-0. 12 minutes later, Billy Carroll of Brian Trottier having a great playoff series, 2-0. Trottier behind the net to Caller, and it was 3-0 in the first period. In the third period, it was 5-2. Langeman with the shot, Merrick on the tip-in, 6-2, and the Islanders won the game 6-3 with game number 2 tomorrow. You realize the scores of the Islanders-Minnesota games just like tennis matches so far. 6-3, 6-3. That's it. Maybe we'll have a 6-love game. Games 3 and 4 Sunday night and Tuesday night in Bloomington. And how about a hand for Bossy and Trottier, who are really coming through like money players, coming in the big games. Let's go to the videotape. Last night's game, first period. Islanders in the home white. It's Mike McEwen, the Bossy 35-footer, beats Beaupre 1-0. That was the 1-1, rather. 14th playoff goal for Bossy. 10 minutes later, Nystrom on a 25-footer. It's 2-1 Islanders. Then, 3 minutes later, from the face-off, Merrick to Potvin, 50-footer, bullseye. 3-1 Islanders. But Minnesota comes back. 3-3 third period. Goring to Potvin, 4-3 Islanders. That was Potvin's 100th career playoff point. Bossy makes it 6-3. That was the game, but not before we had a fight at the finish. Bobby Bourne against Brad Maxwell, and the Islanders won it 6-3. No more Midwood.
Well, in the Stanley Cup, both teams, you'd say, are good teams, but it's a matter of experience versus inexperience in playoffs, right?
Well, after leading 3 games to none, yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. Well, they are, as we said, the Minnesota is the youngest team in the National Hockey League, averaging 22 and a half years per player, plus the least experienced team. But I don't think people figured the Islanders would just blow them out, leading 3-0. And now, of course, after watching 14 of the 16 playoff games, the Islanders have won 14 of 16 and 8 in a row. I think you'd have to agree that this may be one of the greatest all-around teams in the history of the National Hockey League. There's nothing the Islanders don't do well. And so far, the scores of these 3 games against Minnesota look like the finals at Wimbledon. 6-3, 6-3, 7-5. Let's go to the videotape of last night's game. Third period, 4-4. Islanders in the dark. Trottier to Bossy. It's 5-4 Islanders. 4 minutes later, Carroll to Butch Goring, the hat trick, and it's 6-4 Islanders. Then Minnesota came back to make it 6-5, but with 44 seconds left in the game, Trottier on the hat trick, 7-5. Game 4 tomorrow night in Bloomington. And we'll take a look at some of the Mets' better plays of the young. Four Mets.
This was Sunday night at the Metropolitan Sports Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. The score tied at 3-all, and the Islanders on the attack. Clark Gilly forechecking. Watch the puck pop into the air. The goaltender, Malash, unable to control. It is number 91, Butch Goring, batting it into the goal to send the Islanders in front 4-3 en route to a 7-5 victory. For Butch Goring, it was his second goal of the night, and he wound up with a 3-goal hat trick. Tonight, from the Metropolitan Sports Center in Bloomington, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals, the New York Islanders and the Minnesota North Stars, with the Islanders holding a commanding 3-0 lead. This is goal number 3, the hat trick goal.
Minnesota had a chance to clear it, but they did not. Butch Goring had a chance to put it in. He did not, but Billy Carroll passed it from behind the net finally, and Butch Goring did. That made the score 6-4. On a good play right there, Billy Carroll getting control of it, and right there giving it to Butch Goring, and that really killed the Minnesota North Stars.
Well, it was a 7-5 final. The Islanders with a 3-game lead in the series, and some happy Islander fans even in a game of goals against of 4.75. Bill Smith, 15 playoff games, coming into number 16 with a goals against of 2.54. Return feed and a save by Billy Smith, and a rebound well as they did in Game 3. The shot is blocked, a penalty forthcoming against the New York Islanders. Tripping, flashing against Clark Gillies, and we have played a minute here in this first period.
Opportunity for Minnesota getting a man advantage this early in the game. What a shot there, an elbow thrown, but that was not the penalty. Clark Gillies on the other side.
Brad Maxwell back in the lineup following a shoulder injury suffered in Game 2. His shot is blocked by Brad Maxwell. Screen shot is blocked in front by Dennis. Around Giles. Here comes Bourne. Bourne back to Trottier. The shot saved by Beaupre. And back the other way come the North Stars with a 3-on-2, and it's misplayed by Bobby Smith, and Potvin clears to the Minnesota zone. It's offside. Bobby Bourne and Hartsburg battle all the way to the goal line, and Hartsburg does the job. Caller trying to set by Cicerelli. Up the middle to Smith. Smith with Cicerelli over the line. It was Gordy Roberts making the lead pass, and it's broken up inside the outer line. Bocci in a goal, a backhand shot saved by Beaupre. Rebound, centering try by Boston.
Fine shot by Gordy Lane. He's pumped like the rest of the Islanders, like the rest of the Minnesota North Stars. A loose puck comes out from behind the net. Trottier took a mean hit. Gordy Lane gets a hold of the puck, puts it high into the left corner as Don Beaupre trying to look around. His defenseman cannot see the puck. It's in the net. Clark Gillies standing in front, partially screening Beaupre, was a big help for his teammate, Gord Lane.
Steal by Wayne Merrick and nearly Bossy, Gillies, Trottier. Bossy behind the net gets help from Clark Gillies. Down the boards comes Potvin, but it's a good play by Anderson. Corner, actually, the goaltender, Beaupre did. Trottier centering, gets by Broughton, takes it over the line, takes a heavy check at the blue line. The crowd loves that. It was Paul Schmier getting a shoulder in.
Here's the replay. As Dennis Potvin comes in, he takes a hard hit. Look at the stick fly. Paul Schmier, who has a tough guy, he's fair. He keeps the stick down, and he hits you hard.
Around Lane, the shot wide on the short side to the blue line. It's kept in momentarily by Roberts. Now Nystrom to Tonelli one-on-one. Again, Schmier, the drive, and a pad save by Beaupre. Slap shot, pad save by Beaupre. With Cicerelli, a high shot.
Not quite halfway through the first period. There it is, the piece of heart.
Ewan in the slot, Broughton shot, and it's blocked by Langevin. Hartsburg has Minnesota with pressure now. Hartsburg, the shot, he hit the post on the outside. Up with the puck. In front, and Broughton fan. Hartsburg, the drive, quick save by the lone man, Kristoff. He's stopped by Langevin. Backhander by Brad Palmer, and Billy Smith makes a big save. Broughton feeding the blue line. Schmier, the crowd on their feet, a sliding block by Bourne. The North Stars dominating play. Penalty coming up to the Islanders. Broughton, Hartsburg, the shot. It's blocked in front. Goring trying to get control. Islanders have got to get the puck to stop play, and they finally have it now. And play is whistled dead. The crowd comes to play in the Islanders zone. 9:57 to go, first period. Islanders not out. Hartsburg, that's deflected wide. Centering pass, loose, cleared by Maxwell. The drive, saved by Billy Smith. Rebound, another save by Smith, and play is called. Billy Smith, spectacular. Maxwell, the shot, hit the post. Another penalty coming up. Hartsburg, the drive, and that's wide, deflected wide. Bobby Smith, the Hartsburg, the drive,
Side went through the net. Now watch, the attendants are going to come out and fix the net. The referee had his arm in the air, and here's the shot here. That's Hartsburg letting it go. The puck is moving quickly, but it's like a knuckleball, and it hit inside, and that was the goal that did count. But the puck actually, if we could go back and see that replay again, you'll see the puck hit inside the goalpost. Actually, the North Stars have scored twice. That's what Paul Schmier is talking about.
I thought again.
Here we go. Now here's the shot here by Maxwell. Now watch inside the goalpost, just to the right of Billy Smith. That puck is way inside the post, and it went right through because the puck went off the backboards. If it hit the goalpost, it wouldn't have got to the backboard.
Yep. Well, nice from the shot, blocked by to the Minnesota North Stars. It's going to be Gordy Roberts, I believe. Period of a tremendous hockey game. The Islanders won, Minnesota won. The slot, the drive, and that's wide. And the rebound goes. He walks in front, and Gillies fan on the open net. Bossy to Potvin, the drive, saved by Beaupre. Penalty coming up. The buzzer sounds, ending the first period of play. And so we have 40 minutes of regulation time remaining in this one because it's all tied up at 1. We've got a new hockey game about to begin when the second period begins.
Yankees were last night.
Yes,
Did you not?
From right, John.
I'd rather
have the money.
I don't want John to feel bad, but I'll take the cash.
All right. Well, I think I get a stake out of this. Didn't I get in on that bet, John?
No, you were just the person
that?
to substantiate that the bet had been made. That's all.
All right.
Why is he here? We'll go to a fifth game at the Coliseum tomorrow night, which does not hurt Islander management financially. Last night, in an excellent game, Minnesota hung in and came away with the 4-2 victory in Bloomington. Minnesota jumping to a 2-1 lead on this goal by Al McAdam on the power play early second period. But 2.5 minutes later, Mike McEwen fired at home on the Islander power play, and they were tied at 2.
Later on, second period, it appeared that Dennis Potvin had scored, but the referee, Andy Van Hellemond, said no because of the stoppage in play due to this, the scrap that broke out between Cicerelli and Lorimer, leading to some of the lunatic fringe in the crowd trying to get involved. The game winner here, scored by Steve Payne with 7.5 left in regulation. North Stars lead 3-2. Payne 17th of the playoffs, and Bobby Smith wrapped it in the final minutes. Minnesota hanging on for the 4-2 win. And
basketball won't go away.
No, it won't go away. Lose, but can now win it all here at the Nassau Coliseum tomorrow night. By the way, Rollins Smith raised a good point last night. The extra home game means to the Islander management that they'll get an extra $165,000 if you figure $11 per ticket, 15,000 fans, plus a little money on the concessions. But of course, I'm sure the Islanders would have just as soon won it on the road last night, won it on the road. All right, let's go to the videotape last night's game. First period, 3.5 minutes in, Islanders in the dark. Gordy Lane on a 45-footer beats Beaupre to make it 1-0. Second period, 2-1 Minnesota. McEwen 50-footer ties it at 2-2. Now the third period, Maxwell shoots, Steve Payne deflects it in, it's 3-2 Minnesota. A minute 45 left in the game. Bobby Smith, no relation to Billy, beats it 4-2, and that was it. By the way, Beaupre had 33 saves as the Islanders outshot Minnesota 35-34.
Then they bought a low-priced IBM computer, the 5120, the perfect computer for small companies with big plans. It helps prepare job estimates, track costs,
Hello. Look, do me a favor. Check the concrete cost, huh? Okay, hold on.
figure equipment needs, and material needs.
Under by $2,400.
IBM never stops searching for new ways to make difficult jobs easier, so people can do more important things, like go home for dinner.
It's going to be strange eating a dinner that hasn't been reheated.
We could wait a while and let it get cold.
Daddy! IBM, helping put information to work for people.
Recently, this Hertz ad started appearing all across America. It says,
no more mileage charges.
any car, any day.
Round trip or one way.
Plus, an important first, guaranteed pricing.
We'll guarantee in writing, if you like, exactly what your rental will cost before you go.
Now it costs a lot less to rent from Hertz. Everyone talks about low rental prices.
But Hertz guarantees them.
What kind of person drinks Montclair sparkling natural mineral water? Notice the eyes. They know pure refreshment when they see it. The nose tingles from the delightfully light sparkle. The lips smiling, because Montclair tastes so crisp and clean without calories. Now add a body that feels refreshed. Right, Arthur? And you've got everyone who enjoys pure refreshment. So come to your senses. Come to Montclair.
Tim Ryan back here at the Metropolitan Sports Center in Bloomington, and wow, we got a hockey game on our hands. This is what a Stanley Cup final is supposed to be about. You're seeing it all here tonight. In fact, you're getting a little bit more because 3 goals were scored that didn't count one way or another. Twice by Minnesota, once by the Islanders, and in each case, they could not count. The one that went through the net, the goal judge didn't see it, nor did the referee. The Islanders scored when the play had been stopped because of a fight back in their end. And then we had one right there at the end of the period with the light that signals the end of the period automatically canceling out the red goal light on Minnesota's goal. So it stands 2-2, and we've now got a 20-minute hockey game to play unless overtime is needed to settle it. McAdam from Payne and Brad Maxwell at 5:15, right at the end of a power play with Nystrom off for charging. Then McEwen scored on the power play from Tonelli, and Caller his 5th goal of the playoffs. That came at 7:37 with Palmer off for cross-checking. The Islanders outshot Minnesota 12-10. Billy Smith and Don Beaupre have been brilliant in goal. We've just seen superior Stanley Cup-style hockey really for the first time in this series, and it's a pleasure to bring it to you on Channel 9. Upcoming momentarily will be an interview with General Manager Bill Torrey that we'll be doing live here in Bloomington. But just prior to that, we want you to watch because you're going to see something kind of special. Everybody knows about the relationship, a friendly one between Lou Nanne, the general manager of the North Stars, and Bill Torrey, the general manager of the Islanders. These guys are very friendly but very strong rivals. You're going to see something kind of special. That's coming up when we return to Bloomington in a moment.
This Bud's for the guys who got what it takes to shake, rattle, and keep on rolling.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Fire Company C, Manhattan. The last thing these guys have time to do is to wait online to cash their checks. So their chemical bank branch manager gave them a hand. He opened a special line so that when the firemen come in to cash their checks, they can get out fast. It's one of the ways we tailor each chemical bank branch to the needs of the community. As bankers, sure we like to see them save money. As citizens, we want to see them save lives.
You can't see the hard rubber in this golf ball, but you can feel it when you drive. Hi, I'm Lee Trevino.
This is a new oil that saves you gas. Mobil Super. It costs a lot less. But Mobil One does a lot more. It can take you around the world. 25,000 miles without an oil change. Now for Mobil, 2 oils that save you gas.
Johnson didn't do anything I wouldn't do if I was in his boots. And if I thought the killing would stop here, I'd let him go.
Charles Bronson.
You can't stop it.
Lee Marvin. Death Hunt, based on the true story of one of the greatest manhunts ever, and of 2 rivals who clash as enemies, but in the end, triumph. Death Hunt, rated R.
Starts Friday at a specially selected theater near you.
When I first started doing Eastern commercials, I was almost apologetic. That was 1976, and service wasn't as good as it should have been. A lot has changed since then, and people seem to know it. Because for 2 years in a row, more people have chosen to fly Eastern than any other airline in the free world. That tells me our people are doing a fine job. After all, I may get you to try Eastern once, but they're the ones who get you to come back. At Eastern, we have to earn our wings every day.
Come to Belmont Park. If you're out to have a good time, you can't lose.
Thousands were cheering for you. You didn't let them down.
There is no quit in the Minnesota North Stars, and there is none in their fans, as they are going the distance here, trying to keep this series alive despite being down 3-0. Potvin to Tonelli as the Islanders start to our right in blue and take the puck into the Minnesota zone. Nystrom centering pass. Schmier breaks it up, and it's picked up by Brad Maxwell, and his pass out picked off by Morrow. Morrow dumps it in. The Islanders start. Merrick, Tonelli, and Nystrom. There's Tonelli. Forechecking tough on Greg Smith, comes up with a puck, passing it to Merrick. It comes to the blue line. Potvin, the drive wide. Rebound up the left boards for Steve Payne. His pass, a bad one, into the Islander zone. No icing on the play, and Dennis Potvin takes over. The North Stars send out Cicerelli with Bobby Smith and Anderson. Potvin circling around at center right. Fosse is on with him. Over the line they go. Potvin's dump. The puck into the slot. Giles clears. Off the boards, but not out. Here's Trottier. Trottier, and it's a good defensive play by Greg Smith, forcing him wide. Fosse from Trottier. Fosse with traffic in front, feeds the blue line. Lorimer, the drive is blocked by Bobby Smith. Puck loose at the blue line. Smith lost it back to Bob Lorimer. Lorimer to Gillies. Gillies over center ice. Shoots it in. Fosse going in deep. Giles is back. Beaupre clears it up the boards. Anderson starts. Bobby Smith away. Smith over the Islander line. Smith has been tramping tonight. Takes a hit from Lorimer. The puck picked off by Trottier. Trottier behind his own net. Ryan Trottier in difficulty against Cicerelli. Cicerelli's been a pest throughout the 4 games. Bobby Smith and Lane. Lorimer off the glass. It rides along the top of the board. Fosse gets a piece of the puck. Fires it, but yes, pass. The defender, Gordy Roberts, out to center ice. Roberts, number 10, Schmier, number 6, the defensive pairing for Minnesota. The pass up the middle to Cicerelli. Cicerelli ahead on the right side for Broughton too far. Lane and Broughton to the corner. Broughton trying to tie up Lane and get the face-off, and he does.
period start is the way we expected it, Tim. It come out, both teams working very hard. The Islanders skating, checking. They tried to get the Bossy line on and get something happening right away, like an overtime period. When you think about it, it is.
There's a look from outside the net center. Drive right on here inside from Kristoff, and a chest save by Billy Smith. That camera atop Metropolitan Stadium where the Vikings and the Twins play, across the parking lot from the arena. Bobby Bourne in deep in the Minnesota zone to Goring behind the net. Hartsburg checking him. Hartsburg has the puck. Up the boards it comes to Langevin. Langevin shot off his skate. Rebounds to the blue line. Langevin throws it in deep. Behind the net, Goring gathers it in. To Bourne. Goring again. Takes a heavy check from Schmier. Puck still loose. Goring and Schmier for it, and Schmier comes up with the puck. Paul Schmier has been a big asset to Minnesota in this hockey game. Kaller to McEwen. Back for Kaller. Kaller trying to get around Hartsburg. He does. Kaller breaks on the shot. Stick save by Beaupre. Rebound taken by Brad Palmer, who dumps it down into the Islander zone. Back for it, Langevin. Minnesota changing on the go. Kevin Maxwell comes on with Payne. McAdam forechecking in deep. He lost his stick on the play. Merrick comes in. McAdam doing a good job here. McEwen ties him up. And they get a face-off again in Islander territory. 16:54 remaining, third period. Islanders 2, Minnesota 2.
One more set, guys?
Nah, you guys are just too tough today. For Michelob Light?
You should have quit while you were ahead.
Would good friends go at it this hard just for a beer? Consider it's Michelob Light, the rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
I don't get it. You guys killed us.
Don't blame us. You suggested we play for a Michelob Light.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
When you think about it, I was talking about overtime. It wouldn't be any different, really, the way these teams have to play the third period as if it was overtime. 2-2 the score. Midwest Ball with Tim Ryan. Here we are live from Bloomington, Minnesota. Stanley Cup final game number 4. Islanders trying to sweep it for an 8-game sweep of the semifinals and finals. Quite an accomplishment. But they have not won this yet by a long shot. Potvin behind his own goal. Up the boards for Nystrom. Nystrom, Trottier, Merrick. A mixed unit out there. And now they get Trottier off and Tonelli on. Payne. Nystrom forechecking. Kevin Maxwell steers it away from Merrick. It pops out to center ice, and Dennis Potvin gives it to Tonelli. Back for Morrow as they organize over center ice. Morrow flips it in. Tonelli racing after it. Beaupre shoots it back to the corner. Merrick is there with Payne. Merrick, pardon me, kicks the pass to Tonelli. He's hauled down on the near boards. Puck is shot over the glass by Kevin Maxwell, and play is called. 15:56 to go in the third period. Islanders 2, Minnesota 2.
You may have heard that I'm leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm taking 4 tough Steelers with me and getting $50 for it. It's the big Uniroyal $50 trade-in. Buy 4 quality Steelers and get $50 back in the mail. And you'll have the highest treadwear rated tire that Uniroyal makes. But hurry, a deal this great won't last forever. So get your backfield in motion.
Offer good until June 13th only at these participating Uniroyal dealers. When you compare, you want Uniroyal there.
We're back live. Gordy Lane shooting it in. Clark Gillies just hit the goalpost while we were away on the short side, and the Islanders have control of the puck. Bob Lorimer back inside his own zone. We have all kinds of close calls tonight. We've had 3 goals disallowed. Carroll over the line, dipsy-doodling. Number 25 to Gillies. Good pass, but he couldn't tee it up. It dribbled to Bossy, and he couldn't get the shot away. And the North Stars bring it out. Giles. Interception by Carroll. Carroll getting Bossy onside, trying to control play, dumps it into the North Star zone, and the Islanders change on the go. Kaller, Goring, Sutter over the boards. Gordy Roberts slugs it to center ice, shoots it into the Islander end. Mike McEwen there off for Goring. Goring with Kaller. Goring a 3-goal man in game 3. Breaks in on goal, but Beaupre clears it away. At the blue line, Langevin's drive deflected wide by Kaller. Sutter on the far boards. Sutter takes a bump, trying to control the play there. He's tied up by Roberts. And the North Stars come out. Cicerelli, slap shot way up into the seats. Ooh, I hope that didn't hit anybody. My goodness. Cicerelli didn't hit anything on the way out of the rink. 14:35 to go in the third period. But the score, the Islanders 2, Minnesota 2.
We've got the same car.
Datsun 200 SX. Isn't the mileage beautiful?
Beautiful.
Don't you love the acceleration?
Love it.
Isn't Datsun driven?
Driven.
It's so easy to fall in love with a Datsun 200 SX.
Is it as good for you as it is for me?
Yeah.
It's good for you. It's good for you.
That is not the bench you're looking at. That's the stick room in the Minnesota dressing room. They don't carry that many sticks on the bench. They're all the same.
They got a good supply back there in case they run out, obviously. Here comes Sutter. Takes a long shot, deflected wide by Hartsburg. Caller in deep. Goring comes in. Langevin keeps it in. Sutter top of the slot, knocking it down with his hand, but couldn't get control. Goring to Sutter, jumped over his stick. Kristoff out the left side. Gets it to Broughton to Palmer. Palmer by himself, and a good defensive play by McEwen. McEwen up the boards for Sutter. Goring picks up the loose puck. He's got Caller with him. Sutter breaking. Sutter on the right wing. Sutter checked from behind as he was about to release it. Centers it, and Schmier clears the puck back to the corner. Sutter controlling again, but Schmier once more intercepts. Schmier up the left side for Brad Palmer. There'll be a penalty to Caller for tripping Brad Palmer. 13:43 to go in the third period. Islanders 2, Minnesota 2.
At Chemical Bank, we've spent years developing programs to help our customers. But now, we need your help. Our branches have been plagued with an overabundance of $20 bills. 20s that, without you, will have nowhere to go. If you'd like to take one home, simply invest in a Chemical 6-month Super Saver certificate, and we'll give you a 20 on the spot. Please, won't you help?
Not often do you see that man, Andy Caller, get a penalty, this time a tripping penalty as he falls into Rob Palmer. Right here, Caller turns. He looked like he tripped up a little bit as he stuck his leg out. There's no question. He tripped up number 14. Brad Palmer gets the penalty, first penalty of the third period. It could be costly. The penalty killing has been excellent in the hockey game. Only one power play goal. McEwen scored in the second period when Palmer was in the final penalty box for cross-checking. I'm sorry, in the first period, Hartsburg, you're right, Tim. Hartsburg's goal was also a power play goal.
Minnesota coming up ice with the puck. That's Al McAdam getting around Dennis Potvin. Out Trottier comes in to help. Minnesota sets it up. Brad Maxwell. Hartsburg fakes the shot against the slide of Morrow. Takes the pass now. And a shot wide by Payne. Had the whole wide side. Brad Maxwell in the corner. Bobby Smith centering. Picked off by Bobby Bourne. Who gets it to Trottier, who clears it down the ice. Carroll comes on for Trottier. Goring on for Bourne. 1:27 remaining in the penalty to Anders Caller. Hartsburg gets around Carroll. Left side to Bobby Smith. Smith forced wide by Morrow. Bobby Smith looking for an open man. Comes to the blue line for Brad Maxwell. Maxwell down to McAdam. McAdam to Payne. Bobby Smith from Payne, pardon me. And it's Cicerelli feeding the blue line. Hartsburg. Hartsburg on a backhander. Saved by Billy Smith. Not much on it. He had a good look at it all the way. 1:01 left on Caller's penalty.
Minnesota trying to get the Islander penalty killers to run around. So far they haven't. Trottier at one point came close to being out of position. He recovered quickly. As we look from the end zone camera, Minnesota trying to move the puck around. Right there's 25, Al McAdam. He gives it to Payne there. Payne, very close shot. Just wide of the goalpost. He had Billy Smith at his mercy. He was parked only 10 feet in front and just to the right of Smith when he let the shot go, but Payne's shot was wide.
Neil Broughton, a good face-off man against Trottier. Giles, a high shot, knocked down by Potvin, I believe, and it deflected to the corner. Cicerelli, Broughton, and Kristoff, the line. Up front now. This is Giles to Broughton. Broughton, the shot deflected by Bourne from behind. Morrow clears it out. 44 seconds left in the penalty.
Ken Morrow, a strong game also, Tim, particularly killing penalties in his own end. He has shot many pucks down the ice or cleared them for the Islanders while penalty killing.
Billy Carroll doing the forechecking on Broughton. Here's Cicerelli with a chance. Cicerelli sliding block on him by Dennis Potvin. A great defensive play. Looked like he had beaten Potvin to the outside. Dennis Potvin now. He hands it right to Broughton in front. Broughton feeds the blue line to Giles to Broughton. Broughton in difficulty. Still has the puck. Goes to the blue line to Giles to Broughton. 8 seconds left in the penalty. Broughton trying to go all the way across. Not a good play. Morrow picked it off and uses up the rest of the penalty time. Flipping it in, and the Islanders are back at full strength. Excellent penalty killing. Here comes Gordy Roberts. Roberts away from Nystrom. Roberts taken wide by Morrow. Morrow takes him into the end boards. The puck loose in the near corner. The stick came up and caught Ken Morrow in the forehead. Morrow took a stick from Gordy Roberts. Here's Nystrom the other way. Nystrom and Merrick in the Minnesota zone. Nystrom behind the net. Two North Stars collide with him. Kennelly in for the loose puck. Nystrom up quickly. Puck picked up by Kevin Maxwell. Maxwell to Kristoff. Merrick steals and keeps it in. Brad Maxwell as Minnesota brings it out. Maxwell and Al McAdam rings it around the boards. It comes to Tonelli on the near side. McAdam checks him, but Lane gives him a ride. It pops in front. The drive wide from Kevin Maxwell. Post call there, but Maxwell missed the net by 3 feet. Pile up in the corner. And a face-off coming up in the Islander zone. With 10:44 to go in the third period, the Islanders 2, Minnesota 2.
This is Scott's Grow Flowers fertilizer. Sprinkle some around your flowers, wait a few weeks, and watch the fireworks. Compared with enough fertilizing, you'll get more marigolds, jazzier geraniums, prettier petunias. Scott's Grow Flowers fertilizer. Put some in your flower garden and enjoy the show. Scott's Grow fertilizers for flowers, shrubs, and trees.
Ken Morrow goes off. It looked like he got cut or got hit over the eye, Tim. I don't think it's a serious kind of thing. He was just stunned momentarily. We'll have to wait and see what happened.
Islanders win the draw. Lane up to Nystrom. Bounced over his stick. Greg Smith shot, and Billy Smith tested. Made the save. Lorimer gives it to Lane. Lane, good pass to Merrick. Merrick to Nystrom on the right wing side. Greg Smith waiting for him, and Smith breaks it up. Smith dumps back to the corner. Nystrom is there. Nystrom gets help now from Lorimer. Steve Payne comes up with the puck. Dumps it out over the blue line, and Lorimer has it there. Lorimer with Kevin Maxwell in pursuit. Maxwell got a piece of it. Nystrom is bumped by Greg Smith, and the loose puck gathered in by Payne. Payne over the line. The slap shot, stick save by Billy Smith. Rebound knocked loose by Lorimer. Payne stays right on the puck. Merrick comes in to help, and play is whistled dead.
Minnesota continues to bring the puck toward the Islander end of the ice. They're doing a good job. They're back-checking and forechecking very well. The intensity has not left the game. We mentioned about Ken Morrow, and here's the play that he got clipped on as he goes behind the net. He's checking in the corner. The puck goes around, and there's somewhere right here, a stick right there. As the stick swings around, that's
Gordy Roberts.
Gordy Roberts, number 10. You're right. Thank you, Tim Ryan. Roberts' stick comes up high, catches Morrow across the forehead.
McEwen and Langevin out there now, and Smith tested on that play right from the face-off by Cicerelli. McEwen for Bossy. Bossy out of his own zone, just off the mark for Trottier. That could have been a 2-on-1. Giles back for Roberts. Roberts to Bobby Smith. Bobby Smith for Cicerelli. Gillies picks it off, and it's kept inside by Anderson. The drive. Big save by Smith. Loose puck, and Smith got a piece of that. And Langevin brings it up to Gillies. Gillies rink wide for Bossy. Bossy in deep, too wide as Roberts took him to the corner. Bossy throws it behind the net. Trottier to Gillies. Gillies has got some room, comes to the blue line. Langevin the drive and a save by Beaupre. Loose puck. Trottier can't get the shot away as Anderson checked him. The puck in the far corner, and it's Anderson, number 8, with the puck. Off the boards for Cicerelli, too far. Langevin back inside his own line. Minnesota changing on the go. The pass quickly up to Bossy. Bossy with Trottier over the line. Bobby Smith checks him, and it's Schmier in the corner. Schmier for Minnesota as the Islanders change on the go. Schmier starting Brad Palmer away. He can drill it, and he does, and a chest save by Billy Smith, and Palmer's upset by Lorimer. Potvin to Bossy, to Caller, pardon me. Caller fans on a shot, dumps it in for Bourne, the shot, and it's blocked by a sliding Paul Schmier. Still in the Minnesota zone, Goring the shot, caught by Beaupre. Hartsburg had it taken away by Bourne to Caller. He can't get the shot away, now he does high. Goring is bumped off the puck. Rotten with it, he's bumped by Caller. Kristoff trying to come out. Bourne checks in. Kristoff gets the puck into the Islander zone. Lorimer with Brad Palmer on him. To Caller, to Goring, overskates the puck. He lost it to Kevin Maxwell. Maxwell into the Islander zone. Poke check by Lorimer, keeps on going. Kevin Maxwell centering right through the crease, nobody there. Off the boards, it's picked off by Caller. Caller to Bourne, couldn't handle a pass. Islanders want to change. End-to-end action here. Paul Schmier, rink wide for Steve Payne, and Nystrom gets a piece of him. And it's knocked out by Lorimer. Lorimer shooting it to the Minnesota line where Brad Maxwell gets it to McAdam, who steers it in. 7:53 to go, regulation time. We're tied at 2. Lorimer is bumped in the corner by McAdam. Merrick comes in to help. McAdam feeds the blue line. Brad Maxwell back to McAdam. In the slot, Kevin Maxwell checked but still has possession. Goes off to McAdam to the blue line. Brad Maxwell, the shot. Score! Steve Payne scoring in the shot from Brad Maxwell. And it is 3-2 Minnesota. 7:34 to play, regulation time.
They kept it up. They kept coming at the Islanders, and finally they put it in. The puck back to the point man, number 5. And you'll see him standing there waiting. It just touches his stick. Lorimer slid into Billy Smith. Maxwell shoots it, and number 26, Steve Payne, tips the puck by Billy Smith. A big goal for the Minnesota North Stars. Here's the shot by Brad Maxwell, the tip by number 26. Steve Payne. It beats Billy Smith on the far side. And now the Minnesota North Stars have taken the lead, 3-2.
Second time in the game the North Stars have led. They went ahead 2-1 back early in the second period. And they shoot the puck back into the Islander zone. McEwen. It has been a furious pace in this third period. Steve Payne's 17th goal of the playoffs, tying him with Bossy. Here's Carroll, a shot wide. Here comes McEwen on the rebound off the backboards, and an arm saved by Beaupre. Cicerelli lost it to Carroll, to Bossy in front, and it's broken up inside by Bobby Smith. Smith checked by Carroll. Carroll trying to keep it in. A bouncing puck. Gillies to Bossy, the shot. Can't save by Beaupre, and he dives on the rebound. And play is called as Giles and Carroll bump together. Now Gillies and Roberts. Bossy is tied up by a enthusiastic North Star. Dino Cicerelli, I don't know what he was thinking Bossy was going to do, but the linesman and the referee in there quickly to halt anything else from getting going. 6:54 to play. Brad Maxwell and Al McAdam on the assists. The goal by Steve Payne, the score. Minnesota 3, the Islanders 2.
Hey, Jim, I'd love to see your new Datsun Sport pickup. So would I. I haven't been able to get near it.
With a Datsun Sport pickup, you better get used to the crowd.
I know there's racy stripes on the side. Excuse me? See? And white spoker wheels. Buckets, 5 speeds, just like a sports car. Look, another Datsun Sport pickup. Let's get out of here while we can.
Have a Datsun. It's good for you. It's good for you. It's good for you.
What a save by young Don Beaupre. He makes the save on a shot from the point. The Islanders right back quickly. That was Bossy's shot. He did not see it until almost the puck got by him. Not quite, just enough. The puck hit him, made the save. He fell on the puck, a little pushing and shoving. That goes with intensity. Nothing ugly developed. The fans love it. They're on their feet. They're inspiring each other and their team. They're leading the Islanders now 3-2.
Bobby Bourne is wide on the face-off try from Goring. Stealed by Sutter, and Goring's shot is blocked in front. Schmier gets it up to Palmer, who knocks it out to center ice. Islanders have had their own share of pressure, but Beaupre has been able to hold them off. And the Minnesota pressure paid off in the goal by Payne. Hartsburg out the right side for Kristoff. Rink-wide pass for Brad Palmer. The rookie dumps it in. Backcourt goes Lane, Broughton on his tail. To Bourne, Bourne off the boards. It's intercepted by Schmier, who's been great tonight for the Minnesota North Stars. Lane for Bourne, too far. Schmier at center ice, checked by Goring. Bourne trying to pry it loose. And it's held for a face-off right in front of the Islander bench. 6:11 remaining, regulation time. Minnesota by 1.
Islanders in the position where they now have to open things up, if they can open it up anymore, Tim. I don't know whether they can do that or not. Obviously, Minnesota is in a much better position, particularly for a young team. 3-2. You know that the teams have played a hard game, but there isn't a player out there that would admit to having any physical tire in his body. They all want to play. This is the kind of a hockey game players enjoy as well as the fans.
Well, it's a great show by Minnesota, being down 3-0 in this series. Boy, they were really ready to go tonight. They're a fine, enthusiastic young team, no matter what happens tonight, even if they should lose this game. Now, they have won the hearts of all of their fans if they hadn't already won them. They sure are doing it here tonight. 5:55 to play in regulation time. It is 3-2. The Islanders have Merrick, Nystrom, Tonelli against Kevin Maxwell, Al McAdam, and Steve Payne. Payne scoring his 17th goal, tying him with Mike Bossy for tops in the goal department in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Morrow shooting it in. Tonelli covered along the boards. Potvin has it on his backhand, wheels around to the forehand, throws it in wide off the boards for Tonelli. Tonelli trying to get it to Merrick. Nice from a backhander, saved by Beaupre. The puck still loose and clear to the corner. And the North Stars taking the pressure, and Payne icing the puck to get that heat off.
Good chance. Goring gets an opportunity, or I should say Wayne Merrick, a rebound try. Beaupre made 2 saves in a row as the Islanders bring the pressure back on to the Minnesota North Stars. There's Kenny Morrow, so obviously he's all right. The fans here in Minnesota, they're back on their feet again, encouraging their team. They know the Islanders. They know they can get a lot of pressure from the Islanders. They're trying everything to help their team out.
Well, yes, anything's possible. And ready? Gauthier against Bobby Smith. Smith won the draw. Gordy Roberts trying to bank it off the glass, got it up into the seats.
Every movement by every player means so much now as the game boils down. You've looked at 10 exhibition games, 80 regular season games. The Islanders playing in their 17th playoff game. Minnesota is playing in their 18th. It all boils down here to 5 minutes.
Ciccarelli trying to break out of his own zone. Langevin stopped him. Bossy shoots it back in. Gauthier, Gillies, and Bossy the line for the Islanders. The puck got past Gillies. Ciccarelli is there, checked by Gillies. Ciccarelli pries it loose to Bobby Smith. Ciccarelli breaks out Anderson on the left wing, number 8. McEwen on the coverage there, and it's followed on by Bobby Smith. Smith feeds the blue line. Gordy Roberts, his shot, stick save by Billy Smith. Rebound for Trottier, lets it go to Gillies. Gillies, Bossy, Trottier, 3-on-2. The pass to Trottier, almost broken up. He throws it back in. Bossy comes up with it. To Gillies. The shot is blocked by Anderson, and Bobby Smith has that. Off the boards, out to center ice. McEwen gathers it in there. Mike McEwen, number 16. Back for Trottier, turned the wrong way. And it's dumped ahead by Roberts, intercepted by Trottier. To Nystrom. Nystrom over the line, and Gordy Roberts steps into him. They both go down in the corner with a puck underneath them. And in a different kind of a game, I think Van Helleman would have called cross-checking on the first check.
Also, and you can almost bet Nystrom would have been at it with Roberts. A break in the action with the score of the Minnesota North Stars, 3, the New York Islanders, 2.
Have you seen the cola ads these days? I mean, let's see. This one says it has a taste test against Coca-Cola. This one has a taste test against Coke. This one has a taste test against Coke, too. These are making comparisons to Coke. It's amazing. Seems like everybody is comparing themselves to Coke. Well, maybe that's why they call Coke the real thing. Refreshing, delicious, ice-cold Coca-Cola. This is the one that makes me smile. Yeah, just like that. See, I saw you. You smiled. You said, I'm not going to, but then you did it.
Shot wide by Brad Palmer as we're back live. A 2-on-1 with Lorimer back. Brad Palmer got the feed from Brockman, shot it wide.
Close call is right, Tim Ryan. Gord Lane takes a run at a Minnesota player right in front of the Islander bench, and he leaves Bobby Lorimer all alone as Palmer tips the pass from number 7, Neil Broughton. The shot is wide. There's the play across. The tip is wide of the net. Billy Smith grabbed the rebound, stopped the play. 35 shots for the Islanders so far in this hockey game, 33 for the Minnesota North Stars with 4 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the third period. 3-2 Minnesota.
Kevin Maxwell wins the draw. Greg Smith the shot blocked by Caller. Boring trying to come out, getting it to Goring, but it's broken up by Payne. Payne back at the Islander blue line, lost it to Dennis Potvin. Potvin to Bourne. Bourne over center ice, flips it in. Goring going in deep. Beaupre caught it on the fly and gives it to McAdam. McAdam dumps it for Greg Smith. Up the left side, Payne just steers it to center ice. Dennis Potvin has it there. 3:43 to go. Bourne from Goring. Bourne stick handling. Bourne, the shot is blocked in front. He gets it again and right behind Butch Goring, who had the whole net, and the pass was just behind him. A nice try by Bourne. Out at center ice, Potvin. Potvin checked by Kevin Maxwell. There's going to be a penalty to Dennis Potvin for pulling down Kevin Maxwell. 3:21 to go. Minnesota 3, New York 2.
Come to Belmont Park. If you're out to have a good time, you can't lose.
Thousands were cheering for you, and you didn't let them down.
Dennis Potvin draws a holding penalty. The only way to get a penalty in this kind of a hockey game, at this point in the hockey game, everybody in the building has to know it. And here, Dennis Potvin reaches out. Down goes number 9, Kevin Maxwell. Dennis Potvin gets a 2-minute penalty for holding.
Well, if the Islanders ever needed their patented penalty-killing unit to score a shorthanded goal, this is quite obviously the time. 3:19 remains, regulation time. They are down a goal. Face-off inside the line as that puck left the ice. Using up 2 seconds of Potvin's penalty. Islanders can't just use up the time. They got to make something happen. Gordy Lane can't get it out. Kristoff dancing around. Giles the shot. Stick saved by Smith. And play is called by
Ray Scampanello.
An offside?
Is outside the line. It's an offside as the puck come very close. Scampanello, Ray, he had a good look at it. He stands right there on the blue line, his position, the one he is supposed to assume when the puck is in the Islanders' end. Could see that the puck reached just a little over the blue line.
1:45 left in Potvin's penalty. 3:06 left in the third period. Goring, Caller, Lorimer, Lane out there for the Islanders. Broughton won the draw. He's been good on face-off. Broughton, Kristoff, and Cicerelli up front. Gordy Lane again with some difficulty. In deep comes Gordy Roberts. He got it too high for Cicerelli. Now Lane's got some room. Lane tripped, but he tried to skate it out and failed to clear it out of the zone. Now he does, and Cicerelli takes over. Cicerelli over to Kristoff as he shoots it in. 2:42 to go in the third period. Lane shot it right at Bob Lorimer. Lorimer in some difficulty. Lorimer skating it up over center ice. Lorimer now into the Minnesota zone. The shot wide. And the rebound off the boards taken by Roberts. Checked by Goring. Goring trying to throw it in front. Bobby Smith breaks it up. 1:03 left in the penalty. Caller checking in deep. 2:20 left in the third period. Brad Maxwell coming slowly out of his own zone. They've got the 1-goal lead. The pass to Bobby Smith. Smith with Al McAdam. The pass to McAdam broken up by Lane. Bourne takes over. Bourne, good pass to Caller. Caller into the Minnesota zone. Return pass for Bourne, and offside had been called at the Minnesota blue line.
Good
42
attempt.
seconds left in the penalty.
Good attempt, Tim, by the Islanders. Minnesota know that, of course, the Islanders are going to try and score a goal while they're a man short. They've been able to do it all season. They've done it well in the playoffs. It's almost as if Minnesota has the power play out there in a defensive posture, trying to keep the Islanders from scoring rather than the other way around. So far, Minnesota has not had a shot at Billy Smith with 42 seconds remaining in the penalty to Dennis Potvin.
Puck knocked back into the Minnesota zone, 1:58 on the clock. 35 seconds left in the penalty. You can look for Billy Smith to come out if the Islanders don't get one shorthanded. Here comes McAdam for Bobby Smith. The shot scores! Bobby Smith. Billy Smith partially screened, I believe, by Dave Langevin. But he had his legs open, and the puck went between them off his pad, and Stool is out. 27 seconds was remaining in Potvin's penalty.
Bobby Smith did it all alone. Dave Langevin tries to block the shot. He goes down. Billy Smith can't see the puck. It hit him on the inside of the right leg and deflected between his legs. And that's what's going to take. That's all it takes for the minute and 48 seconds. Here's Bobby Smith taking the drop pass and lets it go. It just misses Dave Langevin. Smith cannot see the puck. It hits his right instep and deflects between his legs into the net. A 2-goal lead for Minnesota. The fans are still on their feet with a minute and 45 seconds remaining. It's 4-2.
Trottier shoots it into the Minnesota zone. The teams are back at full strength. And the puck cleared down into Islander territory. Potvin back for it. Trottier, Gillies, Bossy, McEwen, and Potvin steal by Brad Palmer. Palmer can't get the shot away. The puck is loose, and finally, McEwen gets control as Palmer nearly stole it back. Now McEwen up ice with Gillies and Bossy. Bill Smith starting out of the goal, but the Islanders unable to keep it in the Minnesota zone. McEwen over to Dennis Potvin to prevent the offside. It's poked away by Broughton. Smith started out of the net again, had to go back. Here's McEwen stealing. 1:03 to go. The pass for Bossy offside. 1 minute to play in the third period. Crowd again on its feet.
A little anxious, Mike Bossy trying to get across the line. Billy Smith had headed and had reached the bench as the pass to Bossy. He beat it across the line. That stops the play. With exactly 1 minute remaining in the game, the Islanders trail by 2. The last desperate attempt the Islanders are going to make here. I would have to think that Billy Smith will remain out of the net. In favor of the extra player, the face-off is going to be just on Minnesota's side of center ice. What a hockey game the Minnesota North Stars have played, and so have the Islanders. Minnesota just taking advantage of a couple of breaks. They've scored 2 power play goals. The Islanders scored 1 in a game that has had everything. A lot of hard hitting. Well disciplined on the part of the players, Tim, and the fact that they have not taken a lot of fighting penalties, high sticking penalties. Several times it looked like it might break, but the players did not break with it.
Islanders called the 30-second timeout to organize their last-ditch effort. Al Albert going over the strategy. It's desperation time. The one thing Islanders know full well, they're leading this series 3-0. The worst that can happen is it's 3-1. And Game 5 Thursday night, 8 o'clock at the Coliseum. But they will be trying somehow to force overtime here with 2 goals in the final minute. Bob Bourne has stationed himself in front of the Islander goal, about 20 feet out. They have Goring, Taller, Potvin, Bossy, and McEwen. It's Bob Bourne. No Brian Trottier. Goring is chased, as is Bobby Smith. Taller will face it off with Cicerelli. Islanders trying to get control, and it's Caller with it. He's hit at the blue line. Goaltender is out with Bourne stationed back there in a defensive position. Play is called with 51 seconds left.
Minnesota is not in any danger at this point. They've got the puck in center ice. The goaltender for the Islanders, Billy Smith, is out of the net. They just want to kill as much time as they can. They'll freeze it. They'll ice it if they have to.
Puck into the Minnesota zone. Shot out. Potvin off the boards for McEwen, and it dribbles over the line. Minnesota shoots it out. Offside is called. 42 seconds left in the third period. Trottier now comes over the boards. So does Gillies. Loring will come out. And Calla will come out. The empty Islander goal with Bob Bourne standing out in front of it about 15 feet. Now Bourne works his way up closer to the blue line. And Sonmore. Behind the Minnesota bench, 40 seconds left. Bossy has it inside, and it's broken up by Giles. Bourne for McEwen. Potvin shooting it in. It's knocked down by Gordy Roberts. Roberts bangs it off the boards, picked off by Gillies. Gillies in front, and it's broken up in the slot by Anderson ahead to Cicerelli. Cicerelli shooting it wide. 17 seconds left. McEwen up the boards for Potvin. Potvin to Gillies. Rink wide for Bossy. 9 seconds left. They will not get 2 for sure. And they're not going to get 1. Bobby Smith has the puck. And that's it. It's all over. The Minnesota North Stars, with a stirring 4-2 victory here tonight, have kept themselves alive in the Stanley Cup Championship Final and received yet another well-deserved standing ovation. What a performance by this young team down 3-0 in the series. There will be a Game 5. Champaign will not be poured tonight. The Stanley Cup will be transported along with the two teams to the Nassau Coliseum. And Glenn Sonmore, what an inspirational job he did tonight.
He's out on the ice, Tim, whether it's an exhibition game or whether it's a regular season game or, of course, here in the playoffs, to congratulate his hockey team. He is, you're right, an inspirational kind of coach, a very good coach.
And inspiration came from these people. Just one of the great hockey audiences I can recall seeing in all my years in covering hockey. These fans were terrific. The final score, Minnesota 4, the Islanders 2. Will return in a moment.
You may have heard that I'm leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm taking 4 tough Steelers with me and getting $50 for it. It's the big Uniroyal $50 trade-in. Buy 4 quality Steelers and get $50 back in the mail. And you'll have the highest treadwear rated tire that Uniroyal makes. But hurry, a deal this great won't last forever. So get your backfield in motion.
Offer good until June 13th only at these participating Uniroyal dealers. When you compare, you want Uniroyal there.
One more set, guys? Nah, you guys are just too tough today.
For Michelob Light?
You should have quit while you were ahead.
Would good friends go at it this hard just for a beer? Consider its Michelob Light, the rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
I don't get it. You guys killed us.
Don't blame us. You suggested we play for a Michelob Light.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
Come to Belmont Park.
What a nice way to spend a morning.
The fun doesn't just begin at the starting gate and end at the finish line. Belmont Park. If you're out to have a good time, you can't lose.
Rest up, pal. Tomorrow we're gonna visit the winner's circle.
Believe it or not, if 9 out of 10 of these homes burn down, there's no guarantee they'll be totally rebuilt. Because rebuilding costs are rising so fast, even inflation protection may not cover a home.
At the stadium. Warner Wolf with highlights of the big win and all the sports when the 6 o'clock report continues. Fans on Long Island are still celebrating their second National Hockey League championship in a row. The Islanders clinched the Stanley Cup last night, 5-1 victory over the Minnesota North Stars at the Nassau Coliseum. At this moment, they're about to hear the tribute of their fans in victory. Len Berman has a live report from Uniondale on Long Island.
Roland, I'm standing in the midst of a bunch of fans who have promised to behave and just wave and not make a lot of noise. I don't believe that they'll be that quiet, but you're doing good so far, team. We are in the staging area for the Islander Parade. What'll happen in about 15 minutes, the Islanders themselves will arrive. Then they will come in 5 open trucks and ride up Hempstead Turnpike for a mile past the Coliseum, where thousands of people will wave and make more noise than these people. While they're all waving, let me show you what it was like last night at Nassau Coliseum. What a joyous moment it was, and a great moment that everyone should participate in. The raising of the Stanley Cup. and it was carried by Dennis Potvin, the captain, and his teammates around the Nassau Coliseum ice, while the loudspeakers were blaring the hit song from 4 years ago, "We Are the Champions of the World." And I don't think there was a dry eye in the house, because it was an exciting moment, one of the most exhilarating moments in sport for anybody who's been involved, either in this sport or another sport, but obviously for the players, anybody who's ever laced up skates wants to win that Stanley Cup and carry it, and that's what the Islanders did last night. These fans are waiting for the Islanders to arrive, and then the parade will begin. So let's start the cheering now. We'll send it back to the studio. We are #1, say the Islander fans.
And our congratulations to the New York Islanders.
That's right. You know, also, Jim, I think in sports, a lot of times not enough credit goes to the management. Players were great, but it was the management that put that club together and 2 straight Stanley Cups. So I think you got to say hats off to the general manager in this case, Bill Torrey, who really traded and put this club together.
Let's do so.
All right, go ahead.
Hats off, Mr. Torrey.
We don't have any hats, but we'll give you the hat trick.
Right.
That's how the hat trick came about. That's it, though. A team is only as good as the organization. In other...
Except here.
All right, let's go to the videotape of last night's game. First period, Islanders in the home white. It's Bourne to Butch Goring, and it's 1-0 Islanders. 25 seconds later, Tonelli to Merrick, and it's 2-0. Then 4.5 minutes later, Gillies to Goring, his 10th playoff goal. It's 3-0. Now it's 3-1 in the second period. Billy Carroll to Bobby Bourne, and it's 4-1 Islanders. Here, however, is the boo of the week. Watch Kevin Maxwell wind up and boom, slashes Billy Smith. Get that guy out of there. And then Trottier to Mike McEwen, 5-1, and that was it. Now, Goring got the MVP, the Conn Smythe Trophy. There you see Trottier. But in reality, it could have gone, really could have gone to Bossy, could have gone to Trottier, could have gone to Billy Smith. Really, it was a team trophy. After the game, Billy Smith compared this year's Stanley Cup champions with last year's champions.
This is a much better team this year. It's much stronger. You know, this is the kind of team you can't rattle. You know, last year in the playoffs, we got rattled. Like, if you remembered, we're going in the last period against Philly. They ended up tying us, forced us in overtime, and we were rattled. Tonight and every other game, we were consistent. Like, we'd be down 2 goals, and we'd say, hey, what's the problem? Let's stick together. Let's go. We're together, guys. And, you know, we got a lot of calm hockey players out there. And I think that's the biggest factor.
All right, Billy Smith, who played in 17 of the 18 playoff games. Islanders won 15 out of the 18 playoff games. Then lost.
The Islanders took it in 5. It cost me a steak dinner.
I predicted the NBA Finals. He is now having he's having his 8-year-old daughter make the predictions. Yeah, you notice the amazing change last couple of series. It was an awesome march by the Islanders. They won the 15 of the 18 playoff games. Only twice in the last 10 games did their opponent come within 3 goals. And last night, Game 5 against the North Stars was signed, sealed, and delivered very early. 5:12 of the first period, Butch Goring fires it in, and it's 1-0 Islanders. Just 25 seconds later, John Tonelli in front. Wayne Merrick scores 2-0. Islanders, in essence, celebrating the cup right there. It was over. Gillies with the bump, and he's got Goring again. Just 4.5 minutes later, it was 3-0. 5-1 final. Islanders win it on a team with Bossy, Potvin, and Trottier. It was Goring, the most valuable player.
I never really dreamed about winning that kind of an award. You know, you just said it. Those type of hockey players are, you know, in a different class than I am.
Why do you think that you won the Conn Smythe?
Gee, I don't know. You know, I didn't break any records, and I just did the things that I've always done all my life, and all I tried to do was work hard, and I just did the things that I thought were necessary, you know, to win the Stanley Cup.
And it was over last night at about 10:55, and the Islanders and their fans exploded with emotion, and for the second straight season, the Stanley Cup celebration began. Can you describe to me the thoughts that you have while you're carrying the Stanley Cup around the ice?
I don't know. I never got my hands on it. You know, when you get big guys like Gillies and Potvin, a little squirt like me can't even get up to their waist.
Last
last year was a struggle. It was really tough, and it was sweet because we never expected it. This year was a different kind of approach to it. You know, we came into the playoffs knowing that we owned it, knowing that it belonged to us.
Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here.
They're just awesome, you know. They're just too much for us, you know.
And your laughter too. We gon' celebrate.
Bobby, you really worked up a sweat. Look at you. I got this sweat after the game. I didn't work this hard during the game.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
What's the significance to you winning the cup back-to-back?
It just proves to me that we're as great as I thought we were.
It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on!
And now the island is ready to celebrate the Islanders. A parade will begin in Uniondale at 7. To cover that, we have sent out our hockey expert, Allison Field. And if you recall, last month you saw Allison in training for a tryout next year with the Islanders. So let's go to perhaps a future Stanley Cup champion. Allison, you've got it.
Thanks a lot, Al. You've really done it for me again. Here is another Islander fan. There are many out here, I'll tell you. Okay, the Islanders, they're awesome, absolutely awesome. Here, we're number one. It's a victory parade, and they're going to be bringing the Stanley Cup home to Long Island for the second year in a row. The Islanders are going to be moving along east on the Hempstead Turnpike, past the Nassau Veterans Coliseum. That's the Islanders' home ice. And I'll tell you, as I said before, these fans are awesome. They've been supporting the Islanders for the past several years, even through the hard times 3 years ago, and they just don't stop.
Okay, Allison. Allison doing the report without her goaltender equipment, something I suggested she should have worn out there. Meanwhile, that other team, the Rangers, look to be just a few days away from signing the former U.S. Olympic coach Herb Brooks to take over behind the Ranger bench, with his good friend Craig Patrick moving to the GM post. Brooks and the Rangers are now reviewing contracts. It is on a legal hold and should materialize.
I guess that's what's coming up. Parade for the Islanders.
Winning the first Stanley Cup by a New York team in 40 years. Last year, the Islanders did something even tougher last night. They kept their championship. And tonight, the folk on Long Island gave them a hero's welcome. Allison Field was there.
It was quite a victory parade. The Islanders bringing the Stanley Cup home to their Long Island fans.
The fans have been wonderful. They followed us through the bad times, through the good times, and I just hope we can keep growing together.
Did you ever expect this 3 years ago?
3 years ago, no, but I could taste it. I could feel it a little more than I did 8 years ago when we were only winning, 10 or 12 games.
And the fans were out. It looked like half of the population of Long Island waited, lining Hempstead Turnpike, taking pictures, waving flags and signs, screaming, "We love you." The Islanders in the parade with family and friends basked in their glory. And there was no doubt at all that Lord Stanley would have been very proud indeed. Long Island has shown one thing today, that the Long Island Islanders are their favorite team, and that they are number one. Allison Field, News 4, Long Island.
Last year I was out there, and it was kind of a, what, they did it? Kind of a surprise thing, and now the opposition says they're awesome. So that's
awesome. That's a nice thing to say about them, I think.
Success and more. First, though, this from the...
It's quiet here at the Coliseum now, except for a few solitary workmen finishing the giant cleanup job. But when the Islanders beat the North Stars to win their second consecutive Stanley Cup championship, the building was rocking with excitement. It was obvious from the beginning, so did the Islanders want that cup. As a matter of fact, here on a power play goal, it's Butch Goring. Dead on net, fire scores, Islanders lead 1-0. Then, still in the first period, the Islanders went up 2-0. This a beautiful pass from Tonelli to Merrick. Islanders lead 2-0. The Islanders were relentless in the first period. Gillies digs it out. He gets it to Goring in front. Goring scores second goal of the game. Islanders lead 3-zip. With the score 3-1, it's Carroll to Bourne. 4-1, Islanders lead. Then in the third period, Mike McEwen off the face-off finds the range. Final, Islanders beat the North Stars 5-1. And then the final countdown. And even as they skated around with the cup for the second straight year, I couldn't help but think back to 1972, the year the team was formed. A team so inept that they set records for futility. 347 goals scored against and only 12 wins. Billy Smith was there. Smitty, you've been here for a long time. And I don't mean to not... No, that's it. You remember the old days when it wasn't like this, crowded locker rooms and champagne over your head. Does this make it all the sweeter for you?
I don't recall any champagne in those days. If it was more like a 99-cent wine. But we had nothing to celebrate in the first 3-4 years, you know, like everybody kicked us around. Hey, but now we're getting our champagne on your head. Yeah, we're getting our way back now, you know, and we're playing well, and hey, give us credit.
Well, they are certainly respected today. As a matter of fact, the name Islanders has become synonymous with the word dynasty because this is an awesome team led by Billy Smith, who finally had the monkey lifted from his back when Chico went to Colorado. There's Brian Trottier, long regarded as one of the league's best centers, who set a playoff record of scoring at least 1 point in 18 consecutive games while playing the last game with a dislocated shoulder. And Mike Bossy, the scoring machine. Even though he spent most of the playoffs double-teamed, he still managed to set a playoff record of 35 points. Dennis Potvin also set a playoff scoring record for defensemen on the way to proving he is the best in the league. And Butch Goring, this year's Stanley Cup MVP, who came to the team last year in what has to be considered one of the greatest trades in all sports history. Because Butch has certainly been the catalyst the team has needed to cross over the line from being just a good team to becoming a great one. But you're kind of like Rodney Dangerfield. You don't get no respect. When does the Islander team get respect?
Well, hopefully now. I don't see how they can't give us any respect now. I mean, as everybody knows, we didn't cruise through the Stanley Cup playoffs, that's for sure. We worked hard, but we certainly destroyed some hockey teams along the way. And I mean, we got to make believers out of everybody in the hockey world now that this is a great hockey team. And when you talk about the Islanders, you're not talking about a second-class team or somebody that's going to get upset or anything like that. You got to go out and beat us.
I just saw you drink from the cup. How did it taste?
You know, it's tough to explain. You know, your lips kind of stick to that silver, and your tongue is trying to taste it like it's never tasted before. Very good. Feels good.
You tasted it before last year. Is it sweeter this year or last year?
Well, last year was bitter because it was beer when I drank out of it. This year, champagne, it was very sweet.
Is it time to start talking about a dynasty?
If we can hold this team together, we've got a few guys that are in the option years on this team, and who knows, it may cause some problems. You know, right now it doesn't matter, but if we can hold this team together, we're going to have, have a real good team for a lot of years.
So the question still remains, are the Islanders a dynasty? Well, a few years back, I remember asking Reggie Jackson that very question about the Yankees, and he told me he didn't consider a team a dynasty until they won 3 championships in a row. The Islanders have 1 more to go.
Meantime,
never forget that look on Denny Potvan's face Thursday night. Didn't matter that they had won it last year. He still looked like a kid with an unlimited budget in a candy store. This is every hockey player's dream. It never gets old. Meanwhile, back in the locker room, here's the thrill of victory. Mike McEwen and his fiancée. How sweet it is. But bittersweet it is for Mrs. Gary Howitt in the next locker. This may be the end of the line for her husband. Gary, an original Islander, served well. We are the champions of the world. One of the 3 most overworked sports songs, but it sounded great on the loudspeaker nonetheless. And coming up in a couple of minutes on Miller Sports Update, Clark Gillies and Bob Bourne and some of the other Islanders on tape as we salute the champions of the world. Tonight, it's the second annual tribute to the Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders. I'll talk to Clark Gillies and Bobby Bourne and others. Boston Celtics were on our list. The Islanders weren't. But the Islanders took a nice step toward making the list one day. Both of those teams celebrated this week. First of all, along Hempstead Turnpike Friday night. It wasn't quite Lower Manhattan, but it was nice. The crowd was happy and well controlled, and the Islanders looked just as happy to see their fans.
Fantastic. The people of Long Island have really been tremendous. It's a very warm feeling.
Smith as the North Stars lived until Thursday. The series MVP went to work. Butch Goring once, then from Clark Gillies one more time. For the second year in a row, the Islanders were champions of the world. Well, so pleasure on this first anniversary of the first Stanley Cup to welcome two of the guys who made both Stanley Cups possible. Guys by the name of Clark Gillies and Bob Bourne. You've heard it said before, if they played on any other team, they could be veritable superstars in the National Hockey League. But when you play with guys like, what are those guys' names? Bossy, Trottier, Goring, whatever. Yeah.
The little guys, whoever they are.
The little guys who run around and score.
Yeah, well, you know, it's nice to think about it, but I think we have to win 4 or 5 more to, you know, to really say dynasty. I don't see how people are saying that right now.
4 or 5 more. Let's take a look at the final moment, parading the cup. Every hockey player's dream come true when the cup gets paraded around center ice. There's Potvin. Where were you standing? What were your thoughts while this was happening?
I was just following this year. Last year, I guess somebody said I handed up a little bit. I grabbed it and started running around the rink with it. So I was just falling around this time, just watching it. Just
as far as I was concerned, last year I didn't get my hands on the cup, and I was going to make darn sure I got in there pretty close and made sure I touched it finally.
And you guys get to take it home, don't you, to individual houses during the summer? Or are we not supposed to mention that?
We did last year for a while. Well, the night we won it was over at Clark's house, and his dog was eating out of it, but anyway.
So many of the guys had great series, you know, Mike Bossy, I mean, cracked 33 or something like that, some 33, 34 points. Tremendous playoff, you know, broke Brian Troche's record, and without him, you know, it certainly would have been tough. And, I mean, you know, when Brian Troche set a record, 22 games or something like that, and, you know, where would we have been without him? And, of course, Dennis Potvin broke Bobby Orr's record, and, you know, where would we be without him? And his tremendous play in his own defensive end. So, you know, there's so many guys, and, you know, you probably, you know, you've heard it 100 times somebody wins a Conn Smythe, but, you know, really, this really is a team effort.
Forget the little guy. Who really deserved to win that thing?
Well, like I told you before, I should have won it, but if I would have won it, there would have been a big investigation on why, so I really can't do anything about it now. He did deserve it.
Come on, don't say that.
Well, I played golf with him today, and I won money off him, so I got to see. What was your thought on it?
I don't know. I think, you know, there could have been 10 guys that won it, and, you know, you look at a guy like Brian Troche, who played the last 5 periods with a separated shoulder, and it's really hard to say.
The proceeding has been a special presentation of ICENET, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network.